is our town.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 188 of Value Town. I'm ChanmanV. He's Gaara. He's Feno.
Hello.
How's it going? Just got done streaming, right? I was watching.
Yeah,
for a
I
little
did.
bit.
I don't know if Gaara was streaming.
Yeah, I always stream.
Dude, they always stream right before.
Okay.
Guys always make me sweat while I'm setting this bad boy up for everybody. But anyways, welcome everybody to the show. We've got lots to talk about today. This week's been a busy week, man. Last week we were just talking about this like literally a second ago, that it was tough trying to come up with segments and topics last week, but this week it was easy because we've got lots of stuff from HCT, a little bit drama from HGG, and then we got a couple good discussion topics in regards to the economics just of all the card games that people have been talking about. Arena had a video, Crip had a video. And then we've got Polarization. It's like the recurring theme, like every single week, Gaara. We talk about Polarization literally every week, but the community decided to talk about it collectively. So I guess we need to touch on it at least a little bit again. And then lastly, Blizzard Team 5 ended up tweeting something earlier today that caught us all by surprise.
They changed their mind.
I guess so. Yeah, so we'll be touching on that too. But let's start like we always do this week. Hearthstone, what you guys up to? What have you guys been up to? Feno, since you're a guest, anything?
I mean, not much, just laddering. What is there to do at Hearthstone right now besides laddering?
You clearly didn't go to Singapore, right? Like, took a break this week.
Yeah, that was sad. Yeah. I couldn't get my spot. So, I mean, I would go. I even told them that I would go if, I would go even if I had a chance to play. Like, even if someone didn't show up and they could get me in, I told them I would go if that could happen, but they just told me that's impossible. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the reason you didn't go? I just figured you were just going to, like, take a break.
No, I didn't sign up in time, and I was, like, the waiting list was pretty big, and I couldn't get in, and, yeah, it just didn't go.
Okay. The one event that Feno doesn't go to, basically.
Yeah, it's sad because it was 3 points, and I need those points.
It's the same people at the top again, man.
Same people.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how many people still go to these HCT events, even if they're like at the end of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, they only go for like 3-star masters, right? People, I don't know why other people go. Like, it's
that's what I'm talking about.
At this point, that's true. Yeah. I mean, the prize money is not even much. It was like really little.
No one cares about the prize money. It's all about the 3 masters and people who want to go for last call. I don't know. Some people go for playoffs, but I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Gaara, how about you? Or actually, Feno, did you play anything interesting? Laddering?
I mean, I play Queststroke all the time. So I played a lot of that. And then I tried some Cthulhu Druids today. They don't work, let me tell you.
Coon Druid. I don't even remember the last time I played Coon Druid.
Cthulhu Druid was like decent in the last day of the last season because people don't know what you are and then they play bad. But once people realize what you're playing, it's so easy to play around it. It's just not great against good players.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what we need. Another good druid, just to tack on to the other 6.
I mean, it literally plays all the good druid cards, and then it's just like a random win condition that works.
That sounds about like the other druids. It's like about 7 cards different, but everything else the same.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, Gaara, how about you? Surely you play something cooler than. Well, I don't know about cooler than Coon Druid, but cooler than Quest Rogue.
Well,
no?
Usually I play the only existing control decks in the game, and right now it's only Bakure that is available, and it's a very frustrating experience.
That's a terrible time to play it, dude.
Because even Fibonacci doesn't play Warrior, and if he doesn't play Warrior, then it's pretty bad. Well,
that's true.
Usually I queue into like 5 Togwaggle Druids, and then 2 Death Rattle Hunters, and then 2 Shadowwalk Shamans, and then I usually quit Hearthstone for the day and play some Magic.
I mean, it's literally the worst time to play Odd Warrior right now. It's all the good decks are good against it.
That's a good feeling.
Are there? There's not a lot where I'm at right now. I haven't played a Tempo
I enjoy farming the Tempo Mages with Odd Warrior. That's the only thing
like
they can do that.
If you queue into Odd Rogue, Zoo, and Tempo Mage, that's basically what you want. But if you don't get them, then you just get super hard countered. Like you either like as Vicious indicate, we will talk about this a bit later.
What do we call that again? What's the name of that word that happens with
polarized deck?
Oh,
it's
okay,
apparently
right.
the most polarized deck in the existence or in the history of Hearthstone. Baku Warrior.
Yeah.
Like you auto win or you auto lose. Like you're like ridiculously favored against aggro. You're like 90% versus aggro.
I still like playing it though. It's still fun even when you play against Hunter sometimes. But yeah, it's when you lose after a certain threshold, you gotta stop.
Today I switched. Like I played Otrok because you like if everyone plays anti-control, it's like the best aggro deck. And then I face 3 Baku Warriors in a row, of course. Oh. And then I switched to Shadowwalk Shaman, and I think now I will just grind Shadowwalk Shaman again. It's like, okay, like there's so many frustrating matchups. Pretty much every matchup is frustrating for Shadowwalk Shaman, but it's like the only deck I can play right now that can beat everything. But
I mean, at least there's some versatility in it, right? So you can play it a certain way against certain types of decks, and you can play it another way against another.
Yeah, it has definitely skill cap.
Yeah,
your decisions matter, and it's nice for a change.
Speaking of Shaman, because I follow Ike on Twitter, and literally the last week he's been asking why isn't his Shaman on top of HS Replay with win percentage, because he gets like 80%, I don't know, something crazy like that. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna try his Shaman the last 3 days. And so I took his latest list, which let me show it to you real quick. Okay, it's this list right here, and dude, I lost like 6 straight times when I played it. And it's an even Shaman, and it's got a lot of different things, a few different things. I mean, if you haven't played even Shaman in a while, then it probably looks really different. But, definitely it's got more of an overload type of angle to it. And, it's got the bone mares in it too. And if you haven't played the version with Nimbus, that's in it too. But yeah, so I was playing it, man. It took me a while. I mean, I think I might be like finally over that hump where I kind of figure out when I'm playing, like how to play this a little bit better, but it could also just be the matchups too. I think I just might be playing against better matchups. But yeah, so, even Shaman's just generally good right now. And there's, I guess, all kinds of different even Shamans out there, but this is his latest one. So any of you guys played a Shaman like this at all?
I mean, not really. And you don't even play against it that much, and there's a reason for it, because it's not good. So I mean, I don't know, Ike likes to obsess over decks that aren't good, and because he wins a lot with them, he thinks that the decks are actually good, but they're not good. It's just the obsession that's making him want it to be good so badly that he wins some games,
but he does well with it. Like at least the win rates he tweets about are super good.
But he never shows his rank. You think that's random? It's not random.
Oh man, okay. Questioning.
There's a reason why he never posts ranks and always posts deck lists.
Man, auditing tweets now. Man, not trusting our fellow our players. That
I mean, I don't trust Ike that he played this on like top 100 and won like 80% of the games. No, it's impossible.
Well, nobody wins 80% of the games in the top.
I mean, that's what Ike posts, right?
Right. So.
I don't know.
Well, I think he claims he went from rank 3 to legend, like winning a ton with
this, so. You can do that with any deck.
Okay.
In the game.
God, that must be a good life right there. Being able to do with any deck.
I don't know if I trust that.
Okay. But it's pretty fun though. I mean, if you guys want to try a new deck and try a little bit of a, different angle to even Shaman, give this a try, because plays like the Thunderhead are always a lot of fun, especially when you're playing against a lot of aggro decks these days. And those 1/1s are nice to at least break Divine Shields too for gigglings when you run into them. But yeah, anyways, this is probably the newest deck I've played so far. Let's see. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
There's so many things wrong with even Shaman that I can talk about for like for hours. I don't know if I should. But the problem with Even Shaman is like I used to play a lot of Even Shaman. It's just like it loses to aggro, it loses to Odrog, it loses to Zoo because they just have like better control of the board. And this deck has no comeback. Like you need to have the board. And Shaman is like the worst class at getting the board early. So it loses to other aggro decks. It gets hard countered by Baku Warrior. And against Hunter, you have like no Hex, no Earthshock. Like this list has no Hex. Usually you play one Hex, so you can't deal with like X, you can't deal with Cube. So it doesn't really beat anything.
I think like, you can actually beat Hunter if you just go face, like right off the bat. But it beats the mirror. I'll give you that. This particular deck wins the mirror.
You play like 3 cards with Overload. Unless I'm missing something.
Well, I mean, the Overloads work with, again, you know, they work, well, for one, they're 0 mana, like both of them. And then they work really well with that that Thunderhead card. You know, because it generates.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm telling you that you play Thunderhead and you play 3 Overload cards, 4. And this deck can't really play low value cards, I feel, because then you just run out of stuff and you're dead.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I've never run out of cards, but then again, I always get like hack at that like relatively early. So
I think the biggest issue is really that it can't contest the other aggro decks except you really high roll.
Yeah, you lose aggros for sure.
You need to get the 2 mana, the Merc guy, the 2/3, and you play against Zoo, and they get a Flame Imp, and then you kill the Flame Imp. Like it has to be like super best case scenario. But against Odrog, they just equip Dagger, and then you're like, well, that sucks.
You just gotta hack at the lightning, you know, like volcano and lightning storm. That's it, you know, easy. No, I mean the what is it? What is it called again? That 0 mana lightning that does 1 damage to all the minions. That one's actually not a bad card. Like if you can get the right totem, if you can get the air totem, then that clears a lot of the boards. But again, you take Overload, so it does hurt a bit.
Does that do damage to you too, or to just enemy?
It does damage to everything. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. It's 0 mana, okay? I mean, jeez.
Okay.
If it only did damage to enemies, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I don't see this deck at all.
Okay. We can well, God, I keep doing that. We can thank Ike for this deck.
Like did any good player play Even Shaman in an HCT 2-stop? I don't think so, right? In aggro lineups. Oh. Even in 4 aggro lineup.
I mean, in China, here versus China, Bunny and Colento played Even Shaman, but it didn't seem good.
Yeah. I mean, Even Shaman hasn't been good since early spring, right? It's been
the thing is it's okay, but it's not good. It can win. Yeah. Like you can high roll, but it's not a good deck.
Yeah. Well, we have 25 decks you can climb ladder with, right? To Legend. So it's one of those decks, but yeah, in relative wise, it's not.
Okay. It's not like super terrible, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's probably better than Mech Druid, like Mechatoon Druid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, Druid plays Druid cards, Gaara. It can be better.
Yeah, you're right.
So many Druid cards, it can be better. There's no way.
All right. Well, one thing actually, why don't we? Since we're talking about just kind of like meta a little bit, why don't we just kind of go into the meta pulse that we always do here, and then I can actually talk about a new feature we have on the site too after we get through this. But here are the rankings, popularity for last 2 days or last 36 hours. You know, rank 4 to legend. Not too much changing here. I mean, one thing that is pretty is a bit different is the range between the win rates. Is a lot closer. I think last week Priest was in the 46s. So something happened this week that's making it like a bit tighter. It's only 2.8% between number 1 and 9, which is kind of crazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe Asmo really pushes this. He streams every day for like 10 hours of Big Priest.
I love that deck, dude. I love that deck. I play that. I literally go to that deck like once a day.
Didn't he finish rank 1 as well?
Yeah, he did. All right, Feno.
No.
Yeah,
he did with that deck.
Rank 2.
He finished rank 1?
Oh, not the end of the month, but he hit
rank 1 or rank 2. He finished rank 1 or rank 2.
Oh, really? I didn't know he finished it.
He wasn't even close. He just got rank 1. That's it.
He just what?
I guess.
He got rank 1. He didn't finish.
He got rank 1. I don't think he finished rank 1 with it.
No, he did not finish.
Rage finished rank 1 then.
Rage finished? What's a rage finish?
No, rage, the player rage.
Oh, rage. I was gonna say I've like never heard of the
Quest
term rage. Oh, with Quest Rogue, yeah. It must be Osmo and pulling up that priest, or me too, pulling up that priest.
I mean, he gets 6,000 viewers or so, and he streams it every day for 10 hours, like every day.
It's the most fun deck. Like out of all the decks I've played, all those 30 decks I've played, the big priest deck is the most fun deck I've played right now in the meta, just because there's always like some kind of different scenario that happens that you didn't really see before. And whether it's just like, drawing a crap load from Lyra, or, you come up with 50 damage out of nowhere, it's like all these interesting things that happen when you play.
I noticed this is like another deck that hard counters Sparkle Warrior. Another one of those 20 decks that just
I don't know if it hard counters, but it's pretty good against it.
I played the matchup. You die 100%. It does so much damage. It's ridiculous.
It's just that they have too many threats. You can't deal with everything. Yeah. Even if they play like the 9-mana spell, you can't really do a way to kill that.
9-mana spell, and if you get the Lich King anti-spell thing, spell, it's just like instant death. It's crazy.
But then amazing. They just kill you for like they go resurrect and kill you in the same turn. You don't for like 1 mana they kill you.
That's what I mean. So you can literally come back from nowhere to win, like beat hunters and things like that. It's actually. I don't know. That's why I like the deck so much. It's I've been playing it literally for like 2 months now. It's so fun. But yeah. So anyways, these are the win rate. The win rates are pretty I mean, they're pretty normalized at this point. I mean, 2.8 is like a dream, I think, for designers. And then
the game is fine.
I didn't say that. Okay. Balance wise, it is good. Balance wise, it's good. Class popularity. Okay, this is where you see a drastic difference in, or you've got the haves and the have-nots. So same thing. It's the same 4 on top. And then mage, mage and shaman kind of, I think. Actually, mage, shaman, and warrior fluctuate a bit. And warrior's just been on the downtrend like the last few weeks. And then paladin just keeps on sinking. Like, can it get to the 2%? I've never seen a class at 2%, 2 point something percent.
It's crazy to me that mage is 11% when there's only one viable mage deck. And I mean, Hunter has like 2 or maybe 3 viable decks. Rogue has the Odd Rogue and the Quest Rogue. Druid has 20 different decks. And then Warlock has like Zoo, Even Lock, Control Lock, all that. But mage is at 11% with only Tempo Mage. That's actually sick.
Yeah, that is. I don't know why. It's because Quest Rogue is so popular. That's why. Quest Rogue is so popular.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, that's a quick look at that. We've got our 5 best decks too in the last 24 hours. Quest Rogue #1. It's always makes its appearance. I feel like it makes its appearance every 2 weeks or so. Death Rattle Hunter's been a mainstay like the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I feel like that's just there. Token Druid pops on here, which is cool. Again, it seems like a different druid every week. And then Odd Rogue, of course. Combo Priest, which we talked about before. Big Priest, some people call it. And then obviously Quest Rogue again at the top.
Wait, this is the most popular Quest Rogue version? This is the version I play.
It's not the most popular. It's just the highest win rate in the last 24 hours.
Oh, the highest win rate is this, not with backstabs.
Yeah, I mean that's what our stats say. So
okay, because I think I checked on Legend only and it was with backstabs.
Yeah. If you check Legend only, it's not the last. It's a little bit a wider range of data. So this
is the best Quest Rogue version. This is the one I've been playing for a long time, so that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of why we run this query, just so we can show what the most recent thing, even more recent than the actual site. So congrats on the best Quest Rogue.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my win rate is insane. I'm making that win rate.
Man, you sounded like awful. You sound awful like an awful lot like Ike right now, man.
I swear to you, I'm the highest win rate Quest Rogue player by far. Maybe Raids is better than me on the win rate.
Okay.
But if Blizzard posted win rates, I'm pretty sure I'm like the highest or the second highest. It's just, it just feels.
It sounds like a show match again, man. Are you gonna play in your own show matches? Is that how it's gonna work?
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Show matches are cool.
What is the next show match, by the way? And for those of you wondering what I'm talking about, Feno Feno always takes like
tomorrow.
Oh, which one?
Sorry?
Sorry, I was just going to explain to people. Like, people don't know what I'm talking about. Feno does these show matches where he picks two archetypes that generally have some, like disagreements as to which one's better, depending on, if pros play it or, or just pros disagree on it. And then he has a show match with it. So which one's the next one?
It was going to be tomorrow, like Evenlock versus Token Druid, because stats say it's like really Evenlock favored, but the more I played against good players, I feel like it's way closer than I thought. But actually, I just realized that tomorrow is the champ, so we're not gonna do it tomorrow. But yeah, it's gonna be the next one.
Yeah, you could do it right before it. If you do it right before it, it could be
pretty early. It's gonna be really early because I only have like an A players that played.
Yeah.
It's like three players from an A, so it's gonna be like super early for them. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like,
after fall champs, there's like nothing too, so that's like a perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody mentioned. Oh yeah, combo. It's not the big priest, guys. Sorry, this is a combo priest. This is like a legit combo priest because it has the inner fires in it and everything. So, okay. Well, anyways, that's the 5 decks. I did want to announce something to everybody. If you guys didn't check out our Twitter today, is that we launched a new filter today, or we rolled out a new filter on the site, which is the top 1,000 legend filter that you can filter the decks with. This is like a feature that I think people have been asking for a long time now. So, I think we're finally getting to some of these features. We've been kind of making it just more of a priority to get some of these more, public facing type of features for you guys, because we've been doing things like localization, like the site works on a bunch of different languages and countries now and stuff, but you guys don't see it obviously if you're in the US or North America or whatever. So we're gonna get more of these out. So this is the first one, and we'll have another one next week too, so be on the lookout for that. But this is great. You can sort by this now, and I know folks like Gaara and Feno, I think that, a filter like this is much more useful to them than
really good. Yeah. Really good.
General legend one. Yeah. So anyways, check that out. We chose 1,000, by the way, just because, that was the kind of the sweet spot right now with how much data we're getting in the legend ranks. And, if we get more people using HCT, we can maybe get to maybe top 500, but it's just a matter of number of games at this point. So think about it. If you're a legend player, good legend player, go download HCT at HSReplay.net/downloads. That'd be good. Okay. Well, got through the meta, so let's talk. So we've been talking about meta and all this stuff, and I guess maybe let's talk about the polarization thing, and then we'll talk about the Team 5 tweet today. So polarization has been literally a recurring theme every week. So I don't want to touch too much on it, but this week, Vicious Syndicate released a article that basically showed numbers. They came up with their own kind of polarization metric, and it just kind of showed you how polarization looked expansion to expansion. And right now it looks like that, it's at its highest, right? Like the difference between, win rates are in matchups, and having these matchups just be very one-sided is at its highest. So, not a surprise. Everybody knows this. It's like people have been talking about it forever, but I think that the article just was more of a, like a focus point for everybody to talk about it. Anyways, they responded. So Mike Donay had a response early, which just got downvoted to create literally -500 downvotes or whatever, because I don't know. It just wasn't like a terrible response, but it was more like, I don't know, how do you describe it? Just,
it seemed like he didn't know what he was talking about or something.
I don't know about it. So let me show it to you. I don't know about that, but it was just like, you should have written the article like this, it was like one of those kind of responses. Yeah. Like, this would have been better if you wrote the article like this, but it didn't say that it was right or wrong though. It just said that you could have, explained it better by doing this, and, anyways, that got obviously -665 points. I mean, super bad, reaction from the community. So Ixar had a response too, on Twitter, which, definitely was much better in terms of addressing it a bit. And you guys get a look at this response from Ixar it was like in a reply to a tweet too. Yeah, so anyways, he was talking about it. I mean, I think that he thought the article was really good and was talking about it. one of the things that he said is he doesn't think that their numbers align with that, which is definitely a response we don't like to hear as a community, because you know, those numbers are obviously not transparent to us, so we don't know what those numbers even are.
You guys don't know what you're talking about. The game's fine. Just have fun.
He doesn't say that, okay? Like, his response doesn't say that for sure, but it definitely does, you know, insinuate that their numbers do look a little different in terms of polarization. So that's kind of.
I mean, honestly, they can't be that different, right? Like,
I don't think so. I mean,
come on, how can they be that different?
They can only be different if they look all ranks, and like if people play Questrock on rank 25, they probably lose to Baku Warrior because, you know, they don't go for infinite value because they have no freaking clue what they're doing.
I honestly think Baku Warrior is favored on rank 25 against Questrock.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly think that.
Yeah, so if you look at all ranks, then it's probably not as bad.
Yeah.
If you play the game completely terrible, then...
But there should be a way. I mean, I think I'm thinking you're right when it comes to like the response with the overall, you know, just their numbers look differently. That could be an overall all players type of thing. But I don't know. I feel like they've probably gotten to the point where they segment, you know, these things, right? Like how it looks with these, you know, rank 15 to rank 25, how it looks from rank 5 to rank 15, how it looks from legend to rank 5 or something like that. And, you know, I like definitely from rank 5 up to legend, it definitely, I mean, I would guess, I haven't ran our numbers to really look, but I mean, from what I saw from Vicious Syndicate's article, it doesn't look that far off what I would even guess it would be.
I mean, Vicious Syndicate said that they're using Trackerbot and Deck Tracker.
Yeah, there's more that comes from our HCT.
Yeah, and HSReplay is also using Deck Tracker, and Deck Tracker is from recorded games, from actually recorded games, so it's not like some made up statistics. Yeah. And stats don't really lie. So like, how could it really be that different? It just doesn't make sense. Like,
I mean, Blizzard has all the data, right? We don't have all the data. So there could be a difference, but it just can't be that big. Yeah. Is one of it.
I mean, like, I think one of the statements that came from it is just that it's just the highest that it's ever been. I mean, is that a true statement or not? You know, even if regardless of how high the numbers are, is it higher than it's ever been? And I mean, I would think that given his response, he's, you know, it makes you think that it's not in their stats, you know, and that would be surprising to me, at least at the higher segment, you know. And I mean, I think, you know, most of the players obviously are in that, you know, what is it, below 12, rank 12. I don't know what it is these days, but before it was like 70% of players below rank 12. And you know, maybe they're just looking at it purely from that standpoint. But, you know, again, even if like the majority of the users are in that segment, the majority of like streamers and pro players and, you know, like that side of the community are all in the other bucket. And I mean, it's clearly, you know, an issue right now. So what else did he say here? Anything else that Ixar said here that really stood out to you?
I think I remember he said that his wording wasn't great on something because, right? Didn't you say that?
The wording wasn't great? What?
Maybe it wasn't on this tweet.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I'm kind of going through right now, you know, right here. You know, snapshotting, like depending on when you snapshot it, can, you know, obviously affect the stats, but I don't think that's as big of an issue here. Let's see. But, you know, generally speaking, I mean, I think Dean's response was, you know, probably the best response we've gotten from the team, you know, in terms of...
you should check this out. How can I send you a link, by the way?
Oh, just send it in Skype.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is the one I was talking about. If you see his response on this tweet, I think we're looking at a different tweet, aren't we?
No, I mean, there's a Reddit thread that summarized it all, but this one? Oh, okay, maybe I didn't look at this one. Okay.
This one is different. He's talking with Mega Man, who does like a bunch of stats.
Okay, here we go. Actually, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, this one is interesting. This is the one I read, I think. I don't know if people have seen that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he outright just says that it doesn't think it's increased dramatically. And maybe not dramatically, but at least it's increased, right? Like, it would be nice to at least have them acknowledge that it is at its highest, but you know, it seems like they're just avoiding saying that statement.
Yeah, if you scroll down to the comments, he explains.
Oh, does it? Okay, let me see.
There's like a bunch of replies to that tweet, basically.
So okay, here. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah. This is the same thing. This is the same thread. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same thread. It's just that was a specific one. Yeah. But you know, he does say that you know, cards like the DKs and Jade and Odd, you know, I mean, he does say that he disagrees that players hate those cards, and I think that when you first play them, you don't hate them, but I think over time, when you realize what it does to the metagame, people start to hate those cards, right? Like, does anybody like Jade? Like from a pro, did anybody like Jade at the end of the Jade era? Like when Gadgetzan finally got, like right before it finally got retired?
Like, I no, like the thing about Jades, I always enjoyed the Jades for Rogue and Shaman, but not the one for Druid, because for some reason they printed Jade Idol the way how they did it. It was actually only Jade Idol that was a huge problem. I think Jades
it was just
fine.
Jade Idol. Yeah.
If you had a limited amount of Jades, then it was cool. I think Jade Claws into Lightning into Aya was always felt like it was so satisfying to like play Jade Claws into Jade Lightning.
Yeah, it was good. I never felt bad playing against it or playing it. So
okay, maybe. I mean,
I don't know. I didn't hit Jade Idol as much as other people did.
Yeah,
but because I thought it was completely beatable. I mean, sure, there was like, again, talking about polarization, right? Like it had some super polarized matches where you just couldn't win because they go infinite. They never run out of threats. But I think there was an interesting way to even approach these games because you could like try to out-tempo them or something like that.
Yeah, there was a tempo. I mean, the tempo was a little slow, so there were ways of taking advantage of it with Jade, unlike some of the decks right now. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think it was interesting though. I wasn't really a big hater of the Jades, but I can see how it's not great for the game. Have a card like that. Just for Jade Idol, I think all the other Jades were completely fine.
Yeah, it was only Jade Idol, and later they printed Skulking Geist. So because of Skulking Geist, it was like okay, it was tolerable, the whole Jade thing, because it was only Jade Idol. Then we had Skulking. But the most interesting thing I found about the article, by the way, is that the last most fun meta for people, for streamers and stuff, was like during Whispers of the Old Gods, and I think this was also for me the last super fun meta, and apparently that was the last meta where we had the least amount of polarized decks. So that was like during the time of Razaku's Priest, Midrange Shaman, and that is what I find.
I mean, I just remember that back in the day we had like polarized metas, but it wasn't like this. For example, now we have the meta is pretty polarized, but we have like so many different decks and so many different archetypes, right? But back then, I just remember that we had like 4 decks or 3 decks. I clearly remember that we had Jade Druid, Freeze Mage, Miracle Rogue. It was 3 decks that were good. And then whatever you queued, you had to queue the right matchup. If you queued Jade Druid into Mage, you would win. If you queued Mage into Rogue, you would win. If you queued Rogue into Druid, you would win. That's how it went. And it was terrible back then because it was only 3 decks. Now it's like so many decks. I mean, it's polarized, but it's just, you know, you have decks to choose from at least.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, you talked about Whisper of the Old Gods, but you kind of have like this loss of memory with a giant year after Whispers of the Old Gods, because that's the Shaman era. That's the time where
that was not bad.
The mid-range Shaman was the only deck that everybody played.
Yeah, but it was still I remember like when I got rank 1, I had like 70% win rate in the mirror, and we basically played the same deck because skill mattered a lot in the Shaman mirrors.
Yeah,
I think
there's another thing but there's a bad element to that too, though.
Yes, after a while, Gaara, also people figure out how to play it. It's like after a while that the difference gets lower. Like at the start, you might get like a really good edge because you know how to play it. But when it's like when you've been playing the same thing for like a month or 2 months, people catch up to it and they play better. You know, at least the good players do. So I mean, I'm sure you can get an edge there by being better, but after a while, it's really not there anymore because people have played the same matchup a million times, so they kind of get an idea of how to play.
I know that and they nerfed Shaman, right? Very shortly.
Well, they nerfed Shaman when we went into the Ngoro stage, and this is kind of where we started, you know, the path to where we are now.
But the meta, for example, where Razakus Priest was the best deck.
I love that meta.
Yeah, exactly. It was the last best meta. The thing is that so few people played Razakus Priest because it was such a high skill cap deck, and it could lose to everything. So it's like whenever you queued into Razakus Priest, you could beat it. Like with
I thought a lot of people played it. No,
no.
A lot of people did, but not a lot of people did well with it. I just remember it was,
Okay.
It was like the same people doing well with it, and then everyone else was playing like Jade Druid, Paladin, and Temporal, because Temporal was a deck back then. So if you could play Keleseth on 2 and step, you know, that's
Spiteful was too. I mean, it's and I think Spiteful was. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing there. But anyways, the point is that the extreme, which is like one deck is super good, and you know, skill cap matters there. Because during the Shaman period, I remember a lot of pros and loved. I actually had no problems with the Shaman era because the Shaman deck had a very good skill cap to it. You know, like going mirror matches and things like that. But from a diversity standpoint, but from a diversity standpoint, it's terrible. You know, so like I think both sides, both are huge issues. So
I don't know exactly what people are looking for when they want to describe a perfect meta, though. Like, what is a perfect meta? Do you want everything to be 50-50 or what? Like,
well, I think polarization is going to happen, right?
Is actually the percentage.
Well, but I mean, I think polarization is always going to happen because I think getting 60-40 between a lot of decks is just impossible. Like, you can't have 25 decks.
But we had that for the first year. Most matchups are 60-40.
Well, okay, so for the first year, I think deck decking wasn't nearly as crazy as it is now, you know, obviously with our site and everything. So, you know, things were getting discovered much, much slower. And, you know, I think if we started way back in the beta again, we'd be in the same spot again. A little bit different. You know, so again, like we like got ourselves out of the Shaman era by creating all these crazy like win conditions with quests and DKs and, you know, like what we've been doing the last year. So, you know, I think that lesson learned is that those type of cards are bad too, even though there are good elements to the cards, but in the end, you know, it's creating even more contrast and more polarization because of it. But, you know, it did add elements like control, right? Control, I feel like this last year has been more of a thing just because we have cards that give infinite value. I mean, we have cards that give crazy value, you know?
Is control a thing, though? Like,
I mean, it can, I mean, sure. Aggro still is like super, super great. But
it's just funny that they've nerfed like aggro. I feel like they nerf aggro every time. They never bring aggro cards, and somehow aggro is still the best, like every time.
It is, but you can't say that control isn't better than it's been in the past.
I mean, there are no control decks right now. It's only warrior, and everything else is bad. Priest is bad. Warlock is bad. Like,
the destroyed control.
It's the thing I've been saying. Well, you know,
if you're talking about if control doesn't include like OTK decks and things like that, then sure.
No, that's not control.
Like more traditional control. Yeah, more traditional control. I guess there isn't that many except for the war.
I mean, like if you think about it, I've been saying this for a long time, is that people who try to play anti-aggro decks, like, or, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you say that control decks are anti-aggro decks, but I don't know how that, you know, terminology is in Hearthstone, because some people, like, I don't know, they consider, I don't know, maybe the priest deck that Asmo is playing as a control deck. I don't see that as a control deck, for example.
Yeah, it's kind of murky as to what it is, but combo for sure is a strong thing right now.
Yeah,
you know,
I just think that control doesn't really beat aggro anymore. That's the thing. Like the only control deck that's a real control deck that beats aggro is Odd Warrior. Like priest doesn't beat aggro, mage doesn't really beat aggro.
I mean, priest could be
doesn't really beat aggro.
It just loses to like everything else. That's the you could put Arcanize back in and circles.
I don't think they beat aggro enough to justify playing this deck, especially in tournaments. Like, no one is playing control lineup for a reason, because it just doesn't beat aggro, and then there's a bunch of anti control. So,
So good question. I don't know what a perfect meta really looks like. You know, is it less viable card of decks?
I think it's like just you need to have counterplay. Like, you need to be able to interact with what your opponent does to some extent, at least.
I mean,
or at least have the feeling.
So if you, because I've been thinking about this, right? So the only decks that are really polarized in this meta, that make the meta like bad, as everyone says, it's only Quest Rogue and Odd Warrior, right? Is there any other deck that's really polarized? Like, I really don't think so.
Dogwaggle Druid, of course.
Dogwaggle Druid?
Yeah, since they printed Florist, that deck is now super
Dogwaggle Druid.
Before Florist, Dogwaggle was fine.
I don't know. I think the only decks that are really polarized is Quest Rogue and Odd Warrior. And I mean, other than that, I feel like the meta is like completely fine. Every matchup is pretty close, in my opinion. I don't know how this. I mean, I think this meta appears to be the most polarized just because of these two decks. I think everything else is.
I am all for killing those decks and just seeing what happens to the meta. You know, like, I mean, I think Druid would be crazy. You know, still crazy strong, or maybe even stronger. And then we'd have to look somewhere there. But
yeah, Druid, like. They should remove Florist and of Odd Warrior and Quest Rogue.
Yeah, but then you don't know what happens, right? Because if you remove Quest Rogue, for example, then there might be some decks that can get out of control, like Odd Warrior, right? Like Odd Warrior, maybe.
No, you get rid of that one too. Like,
we said Odd Warrior, Quest Rogue, and Florist.
Yeah, I don't know how that will look. I'm always scared of.
There's too much you can do with
strong decks, but
I mean, if you counter Odd Warrior, then what? I mean, Tempo Mage is not in check. I mean,
you think about Tempo Mage with everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can beat Tempo Mage with some other.
I mean, I honestly think if we had no Quest Rogue and no Odd Warrior right now, the meta, like in polarization wise, would be perfect, because I feel everything is like really close. Other than, I think if you put down all the matchups and look at
what would beat Malygos Druid? Nothing.
I mean, aggro decks beat Mali Druid.
Aggro decks is good against Magret.
Tempo Mage is like 50-something against it. It's totally winnable.
Yeah.
There are decks that beat it, right? It's...
But it works. It works the way it's supposed to work. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's not even just Tempo Mage, right? Like, I think some of the other aggro deck, it's like, as long as like more than one type of archetype, you know, like aggro versus control versus combo, like counters what's supposed to traditionally counter it, then that's fine. But right now, there's like only one deck that you know, where an aggro is supposed to counter another deck. There's only one deck, the Tempo Mage, that actually truly counters some of these decks, and that's bad, right? You should be able to have Zoo be able to counter it, and Odd Paladin, and these other decks too. But right now,
counter what? Sorry,
just counter, say, like Quest Rogue, you know, whatever like aggro is supposed to counter.
Yeah,
right. And
only
right now,
Tempo Mage counters Quest Rogue.
It's like the only thing that's fast enough to counter it. So it's that's another element that's bad. Which one? Odd Rogue?
Odd Rogue also counters Quest Rogue.
Not that much.
I've heard people debate about that, actually.
It's just that if Quest Rogue is played well, it's so good. It's like,
I mean, you're talking to a guy who's awesome at it, so if he doesn't think Odd Rogue's a bad matchup,
and I can see that, like, when I play Mage, I'm like, there's no way I can win. Like, everything needs, like, he needs to hero power turn 2, pass turn 1, maybe Arcane Intellect turn 3, and I'm still not winning. Like, it's just, so many things need to go right for you to win, and that doesn't happen with Zoo or Odd Rogue. That, like, no, these are completely winnable, but it's only Tempo Mage that's like really bad. And I think it matters. I don't think it matters how you play Tempo Mage because it's terrible, but it really matters how you play against Zoo and Odd Rogue, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, Odd Hunter. Odd Hunter's another one that would work. Well, okay. Anyways, so Ixar spoke to that.
Feno's like challenging.
Feno's just like, man, you guys come talking about decks that are just.
I don't even think Odd Hunter really beats Quest Rogue.
It doesn't? Really?
I don't know.
Okay, like, if that doesn't beat Quest Rogue, then that's terrible. A hero power that does 3 damage every time.
Like, that's the only deck you can beat, probably.
I don't think so. I honestly think it's fine for the Quest Rogue. It's not Tempo Mage. Like, Tempo Mage is like...
That is a show match I want to see.
They basically build the deck to only beat Quest Rogue. Every card is good against you. If they Fireball turn 4 your face, it's a good play. That's how good the deck is against you. It's like Counterspell, Explosive Runes, bunch of minions that have like 3 health and stuff. It's the worst.
I would love to see the show match Quest Rogue versus Odd Hunter. I definitely want to see that.
I honestly think we'll be fine.
I totally want to see that. That would be such a good one. Okay, well, anyways, today we got a tweet from Blizzard saying that they are looking at balance changes, which I'm going to put up here. Let's take a look at it. This is what we got today. We've been discussing a couple of card balance changes to make next week. We'll have more information to provide on October 15th, which is, what is that, Sunday?
5 days.
No, that's Monday. So it's Monday. So they're gonna, I guess they'll release it on Tuesday, like right after they announce what it is.
This is the infamous announcement of the announcement.
Yeah. But this is big news because everything they've said so far, even in a big blog post, which we talked about 2-3 weeks ago, was that everything looks fine, guys. We're not changing giggling inventor, you know, like that whole blog post, right? So this sounds like they've changed their mind on that. And dude, I have no problems with them changing their mind. Okay. Like, don't be pride, you know, like I'm all for like not being prideful or anything like that, you know, and, the team doing just what's the right for the game, obviously. So if they decide to change, make a change next week, hallelujah, man. I am like super happy about it. But how interesting is it that they decide? I mean, so here's the question. Did we just misinterpret what they've said before? Because this change is going to be almost mid-expansion, you know, like almost right in the middle here, right? So were we just like interpreting what they said to mean that they're not going to do any changes this time? Or did they actually explicitly say it at one point?
Literally said they're not going to do any changes. The meta seems fine.
Okay, I'm just wondering if it was extremely explicit. So
I don't understand, man. I really don't. Like, how does this happen? How do they say that they're not going to change anything? The thing is fine, and then after like a week, we need to change some things here. That's so weird to me. But I mean, I love change, so I'm okay with this. I'm just scared that they will change things. I don't know. As I told you earlier, the last time they did nerfs, I think they were like the best nerfs they've ever done. Like at the Q block.
Yeah.
The Q block nerfs. I think those were the best nerfs they've ever did. And I mean, I hope they do a good job again because last time I think it was great.
It's like, it would be so fun if they nerf Questroke again for the 5th time.
They will nerf Questroke. I can tell you exactly what they will do. Okay, right?
So what are they going to do to it though? They're going to
they will nerf Giggling Inventor, and that nerfs Questroke. Giggling Inventor is only
really
core. Okay. Giggling Inventor is only core in Questroke in one deck. Okay, every other deck that plays Giggling Inventor doesn't need to play it. Token Druid doesn't need to play it. Old Warrior doesn't need to play it. Like what other, like Odrog doesn't need to play it. It's even bad in that deck. It's only Questroke that really needs Giggling Inventor, and they're gonna nerf it. I personally think Giggling Inventor is a fine card. I don't think it's too overpowered or anything, but I think they're just gonna nerf it just so they don't have to nerf.
Is there another card they can nerf in Questrogue that would nerf Questrogue?
Sonya?
I don't know, maybe Sonya, but then Sonya is not like an OP card, right?
It is super OP. It is
just a combination of the quest that makes it OP. Yeah. So you might as well just delete the quest now, so you don't have to be scared of printing cards that are insane with Questrogue
Hall of Fame,
the upcoming sets, right? And that's how I see it. Like,
I would be down for it.
Prefer for them to kill the quest.
I would be down for them to actually death penalty a card. Like they haven't. I mean,
I would be okay with it.
Yeah, I totally would be.
But I'm so tired of them like keep printing cards and nerfing them because of a certain. Isn't that what they said about Warzone Commander, that they nerfed it so they don't have to like print cards that?
Yeah, I mean they basically did that to that card.
Like,
it's just
so I think it's straight with the quest too, because I mean I think they're always like, who expected Giggling Inventor to push Questrogue like so high on the tier list? I didn't expect it.
And they clearly said that Giggling Inventor is a lot better than they anticipated, and I'm sure that includes Questrogue,
like, and something that my biggest issue is with, they nerfed Questrogue 2 times before, where it was much worse. The win rate of Questrogue was much worse before than now, and now it's fine to have Questrogue in the game when it is much better than it was ever before.
I agree with that. Questrogue is much better than it's ever been.
But it's illogical, right? That because they nerfed the deck before. And it was not okay.
But they added a card. They added a card.
One card changed everything.
Well, 2 cards. I mean, Sonya too. I mean, so I guess Sonya was around last.
No, Sonya was around. It's the giggling that makes like a huge difference. Like,
okay, so changing giggling would obviously hurt that. Baku Warrior would still be around though. So, and Baku Warrior, I feel like is something that's much harder to change without changing something that's.
What would be interesting is also if they would change Zola. If they remove Zola, you can't.
Zola is fine. Like Zola, you don't even need to play Zola in Quest Rogue.
Yep.
Like but if someone told me to, if they removed Zola, I would still just spam Quest Rogue. I don't think anything changes.
Of course, but it would still be a nerf. Like we're talking about the nerf.
I mean, it would be like a nerf, sure, but I don't think it would change anything. Sure, it would give you like, I mean, no, is it really a nerf because you still beat all the control decks? And then against aggro, like you never really need Zola anyway. So it's kind of like, it really doesn't change much.
If you want to be, I guess, as elegant as possible, you just choose the one card, right? That would just basically make it just irrelevant. So
like who even wants? Yeah, exactly. Who even wants Quest Rogue to be viable? Like screw that.
I mean, I'm sure there's people in rank 15.
I like the deck. You know, I really like the deck, but I think it's like a high skill cup deck. I don't think it's healthy for the game. That's the thing.
Me too.
I think it's a really high skill cup deck. The good players win way more with it than the bad players or like the not so good with it players. And I don't know. I like playing it, but I think it's not healthy for the game because the fact that it beats some decks like so much is actually not. It's just not fun at all. Like even for me, when I queue against a Nod Warrior and he's playing it out, and I'm like, come on, just concede. There's no point. Like, you know, you can never win. We're just gonna sit here for like 40 minutes to prove what? Like,
and I mean, I think this generally applies to the Angora quests. You know, like the concept of creating another win condition at the time, I thought was really cool. You know, really brilliant, very interesting design decision to make. But, you know, in retrospect, now that, you know, that we're seeing what this causes and that it's impossible to do counterplay unless you wrote a specific card for a quest, right? Like increase the quest counter or, you know, or something like that. It's not interactive at all. So it goes against everything, you know, that the game is supposed to be about. So
I think they will do. So what I think they will do is that they will nerf Quest Rogue somehow. I don't know if that's by nerfing. I don't think they will touch the quest again. They just leave the quest be until it rotates out.
Yeah.
They will probably nerf some card like Sonya or Giggling. That to me is unnecessary. And then they will do some. I think they will change something in Druid. Maybe make the plagues like 4 HP or something. I think they might touch plague again, like second nerf. That's what I think.
Make it 7.
No, I think they will make like maybe 4 health.
4 health, or maybe just limit the number of 1/5s it creates.
Yeah, one of these maybe. I think they will maybe spawn like 1 less or something than what the other guy has. But I can't really think of what other thing they will change, right? Like, you think they will nerf Lord Warrior somehow? Like maybe decrease the armor that the hero power gives? I don't think so.
No, and it's like I don't think they change
nerfs other than Giggling Sonya and some Druid nerf.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. The Odd Warrior I feel like is much harder to change.
Maybe they're gonna change Cube as well.
Yeah, Cube is a really strong card, but like Rexar. I think they might nerf Rexar too. I think Rexar is just so good right now.
How could you nerf Rexar though?
I don't know. They'll find a way.
It doesn't do the 2 damage to all minions when it comes to the battle cry. Maybe I don't know.
They usually just increase a mana cost.
Yeah.
What else do they do? Or they change like stat line by 1 or 2?
Well, you could.
Yeah, they could make the Rexar decay 7 mana, right? Or so. I don't know if that's a good enough nerf though.
No, you can limit the build a beast or whatever. You could manipulate it there a little bit too. Just.
I honestly don't think changing the Rexar to 7 mana. I think it's a good nerf. Like, I think people will still play the Rexar for 7 mana, right?
Of course.
I don't even think that's much. Yeah, I don't think that's much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean, I think if you limited the type of minions that they could get, then that would be a subtle nerf to it.
I honestly really like the Rexar build abyss thing. I think it adds a lot of skill to the game. So I don't want them to change that. I think I want them to maybe just nerf the card. But I don't know if nerfing it to 7 mana is enough. But at least you're not as strong against aggro anymore or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I still think Druid is a huge problem. I think Florist specifically is a huge problem. It just kills a lot of other decks that you just can't play because
Florist.
Yeah, well, right now this is where we get into like dangerous, territory, just because. Without testing it to a large degree, changing a bunch of things is like really
that's
dangerous.
another interesting thing. It's like
it's
who's
super
playtesting,
dangerous,
right?
It's like
how many people are playtesting these changes?
You know the people. You know all those people that are playtesting. It's like 5 people probably.
That's actually crazy if you think about it, right? And then they release it to like millions of people.
Yeah, I mean it's people we know. I mean it's like Chalky and Reels and XR and probably 2 or 3 other people. I mean, it's all those people testing, and it's, it's not enough. You know what I mean? Like they test.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah. So but that's the thing. Like you kind of send it out there, and you make changes based on that, and and if you can keep changing it, then it keeps moving at least, and it doesn't settle on any type of meta and gets bad.
They really won't nerf much though, if you think about it, right? Like a week ago, they posted that everything is fine. They really can't nerf that much.
But Feno, last time they did nerfs, they nerfed randomly hacks, which like nobody expected.
That wasn't last time.
No. Last time they targeted Q block, and then
last time the
changed
nerfs were
thing.
completely fine.
Yeah.
I think all the nerfs they did last time are reasonable. Every single one.
It was not last time, but at some point, when they randomly nerfed Hunter's Mark, Execute, Hex, it kind of made sense, but it was like out of the blue. Like nobody expected those.
This one won't be that.
But right now, Gaara,
this one will not be that. Yeah.
They specifically said that everything was fine, didn't they? Like a week ago, I don't know where it was, but didn't they tweet that they're not gonna change and they're not gonna make tournament mode like a couple of weeks ago?
I really wonder what changed their mind. Like, was it the Vicious Syndicate? Was it Reddit? Was it Value Town? Us ranting about it.
I think it's all. I think it's like all the people leaving. Right? It's all the streamers probably leaving.
All the streamers kind of getting bored of the game.
It's Delay's video. It's us talking about it. It's Vicious Syndicate and everybody tweeting off of that. I mean, I think got like 4,000 upvotes yesterday. There's it's hard to deny. Like we can't just say there's so much agreement in with all of this that you can't just say it's the vocal public. It's everybody, like at the top at least. From a competitive / influencers / just people that want to climb the ladder. The legend. Like everybody's saying the same thing. So they have to take that into consideration. Like they can't just ignore it, or else like literally people are just disgruntled. Like people are really mad, right now and bored, and it's bad timing, crazy bad timing for this.
But
like
you have to do it. Changes though. Like if a week ago they said everything was fine, I don't know. I don't want to it's really not a week, right? It's more than a week. How long did they post the article with
tournament mode? Was probably like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks, almost a month ago. Yeah.
Okay, let's say a month ago, right? Yeah. So in that month, does it mean that they had tested some changes and they thought they weren't needed, and now they're thinking they needed, or did they like test like in the last 2 weeks or a week, and they're gonna imply the changes? I don't know if you understand what I mean.
But... Yeah, I know what you mean.
So like in a week, did they like make some changes and they're like, this is better, or how did it work? I mean, we'll never find out, I guess, but.
I mean, somebody in the chat, like LZ guy here in the chat, makes a claim that maybe their sales number changed like in the last month.
Nobody's buying packs.
I mean, that's not completely unreasonable. Like decisions are being made by the sales team, marketing team, right? Like there definitely have been things about Hearthstone that have been I feel like the design of the game, or just like things that have been added or been really promoted in the game, have been more marketing and sales oriented. So it could be. I mean, it could be just like the sales team comes, hey guys, got to do something about it, man. Revenue dropped like this last month by 30%. So we got to do something about this. So I don't know if they have this active meter of contentment, in the community, or, you know what I mean? Like approval in the community, and just how that is. Like, I feel like even if a lot of people just stop playing it, you wouldn't see it until the next month, right? Until you actually run that periodic, whether it's based on revenue, like money wise, or if it's like some kind of monthly thing that you run just to see how things are. But something happened, clearly something happened. And,
my concern was that, as I said before, right? Like if a month ago they said that everything is fine, and now they're saying that they're gonna change something, like, did they have like enough time to test everything like in that month to make sure that the changes are good, or are they just gonna throw the changes in because something needs to change? Because if they didn't say anything a month ago, right, we could just be thinking that, oh, they're still testing, they want to figure something out that's good. But now, if a month ago they say everything was fine, and now all of a sudden they change their mind, like, is that enough time to like come up with good nerfs or something like that? I don't know. That's my concern.
Well, first off, let's just be honest here. The amount of testing that they do isn't I mean, it's not enough to actually be a valid test anyways. Like 6, 7, whatever, even like 10 people testing it just for
but you could be working on that for months, right? When you say that, like, you don't think anything needs to change, and then something needs to change, then I don't know.
So you're thinking it could be just a rash decision, like, and you might be scared.
Exactly. For me, this is like a great case of damage control. Like, people are quitting, like sales number are going down, overall player base viewership is going down. Everyone is like trash talking the game. You gotta do something fast. Artifact is around the corner, Magic Arena just got released. It's like all bad things.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's bad timing for all this stuff, and they'd be bad if they didn't react to this and do something about it. Like, if they just sat here until BlizzCon, and like, I have no idea. Like, we have no idea what's going to even be announced at BlizzCon. It could be something huge. It could be nothing.
But it's like Feno said, it looks like, so bad when like 2 weeks ago they say.
Yeah, it does. But it does. Like, in the end though, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what they said before. All I care is about what they're actually doing. And I'd rather them, like, not be prideful and say, oh, you know what, guys, our numbers are looking bad now, and we said we weren't going to do anything like 3 weeks ago, and we should keep to our word. Hell no. Like, I don't want you to keep to your word if you're not going to do anything. I want you to do something, so I don't.
I mean, it can be a really positive thing. I think most people like change, especially when the meta's getting stale and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, as I said before, in my opinion, last time they did a great job. If they can do like the same or like equal amount, I think it will be good for the game. So I'm excited for it. I
think it's going to be good.
That's all.
I mean, I think any change, I mean, even if it's like, who knows, 3 months from now, it might be terrible. I think just a change is good right now, like to do something, at least to get us to at least the next expansion, and no idea about BlizzCon, but okay, well, man, we spent like a good amount of time.
I really agree with what Dog said, by the way, just to finish.
What did he say? What did he say?
I just saw this tweet. Let me link it to you.
I linked it to you in Skype. 2 things.
Oh, you did?
Two things came in. Brand new. We're like up to date.
Brand new. Okay. Let's see.
Like, one thing is Proton is hosting an arena tournament. He just announced it.
Oh yeah. I saw. Oh, it's an arena tournament. I thought it was going to be like a
no
like
arena,
like a dungeon run type of thing. But
no, it's arena.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is what Dog said. The answer is adding a new mode or a different way to use our cards. Okay, so
I couldn't agree more with this.
Yeah,
like usually Savish used to make also a lot of tweets like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that either, but that is more of a long-term plan. Like, this is not something they can do overnight or even just like within 6 months. This is something
read it for the listen.
They have to. Yeah,
but
so it says happy.
I mean, there's no way they don't have something planned, right?
Yeah, so Doc says happy Blizzard announced that nerfs are coming, but the staleness of Hearthstone appears too often. The answer isn't just nerfs and card changes, but adding a new mode or a different way to use our cards. I think one thing that we've seen is that they don't seem to have a lot of resources that work on extra things, like tournament mode, for instance, right? Like it took a long time for tournament mode to even be made. And
I've heard from people that Hearthstone is like their most the game that makes them more money. Is that not true from Blizzard? I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the big,
It's like
if
on
not
top,
the biggest.
On top is definitely World of Warcraft, because everyone who plays WoW has to.
Now, are you sure? Because I've heard it from people that it's actually Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think Hearthstone is.
So if it makes them more money, Blizzard's like a huge company. Shouldn't they just, you know, even maybe put more people into it since it's doing so well? I don't know.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, I mean, we just had literally the entire management team leave. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? And
yeah,
that can't be good too. And you know, there's definitely another news.
Like, who knows what is happening behind the scenes? You know, like.
But that's just bad. I mean, that's just bad too. So like Blizzard as a company, think about that, right? If you had, and this kind of leads to Mike Morhaime too, which we can talk about Mike and all the awesome things about Mike, but even just from that standpoint, him stepping down, you know, and you know, somebody brought this up to me because I didn't even think about it, but it's like, wonder if it had anything to do with the entire Hearthstone management team leaving and building their own company, given that, you know, that this was their biggest revenue generator, or one of their biggest revenue generators, and you just literally had the entire management team leave. That's usually a bad thing, right? Like from a standpoint of management. So you know, it's conspiracy theories, obviously, you know, but you know, one thing that I would have to say with Mike is, like, I don't know how much Mike liked Hearthstone. Like, do you guys know how much Mike? I didn't really ever talk to Mike about Hearthstone at all. Like,
I mean, if it's I don't know again about this, but if it's the game that like gets you the more money or stuff like that, shouldn't you put more resources into that kind of, or like at least, you know, have
I
the
would think
option
so, but you know, like,
because you just said like they don't have enough resources. I mean, shouldn't they have those since it's doing so well?
I mean, something they did is like visibly was they put a lot of resources into games that didn't do well. Like,
yeah, like Overwatch, right?
No, Overwatch is doing fine. That's not doing bad. They're making good money in Overwatch too. It's not as much as Hearthstone though, I don't think, but they're making money with, you know, loot boxes and everything. Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys? Oh, did I lose those guys? Oh, let me make sure I'm still connected here. Shoot.
I think you disconnected.
Okay, there we go. No, I think oh, you guys here?
Okay, now it's moving.
Yeah, I think Zoom might be having some issues. My internet seems to be fine. It must be just
okay.
Okay, it's back now. Sorry about that. I think it's Zoom is having some issues. No, I think Overwatch is doing fine too. I don't think it's I don't think necessarily Overwatch was it, but maybe like Diablo 3.
And Heroes of the Storm. Yeah. I remember
I don't
even like 2 years ago that they built the biggest stage in the history of esports that I've ever seen at a DreamHack for Heroes of the Storm, when Heroes of the Storm did the worst. Like, they artificially boosted it. It was crazy. Yeah. And this is when the price pools for Hearthstone went down at the same time. Like, they clearly used a lot of resources from other games and put it into Heroes of the Storm to do it well. Like, kind of like the opposite of what Feno said, is like, instead of putting more resources into games that are generating you all the value, they're actually using resources from those games and put it in the games that are not doing well. Like maybe Diablo as well. Even.
I mean, Team 5 is big right now. I mean, there's a lot of people on Team 5. But I think there's a lot of, you know, artists and, you know, like a lot of people that go into that, like the production side of the game. And even just like the single players, you know, the PvE stuff, or adventure modes or dungeon runs and all that stuff. I think a lot goes into that side of it too. But I think the issue with like putting a lot of resources into that is that usually that content is short-lived, right? Like you finish that stuff and it's, you know, doesn't have much legs, right?
You don't really need to put all the resources, right? If you're saying that the Hearthstone is dropping for some reason, shouldn't they put enough resources into that to make sure that it gets back to doing well? Like, could it be that hard? I mean, we don't know.
I think it's still doing well, guys. So I don't. So let's put that on the, you know, let's put that down first. I think it's still doing well. in terms of like the amount of revenue and everything it's generating right now.
I mean, Gaara is right though. It has to be doing worse than before since Magic is out. Like, you know, all the big, I mean, big streamers are streaming other games now too, like Dog, Dice, all these people stream a Magic Arena or whatever. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it should drop a bit, right?
I would think so, but again, like we can't really see the numbers, but
yeah.
But anyways, kind of getting back to like I guess what you're trying to insinuate is that we need just bigger changes, right? We need more you know like formats, more different ways to play this game, because you know the platform in the sandbox that's there. I feel like there is some ability like to broaden out the product, right? And
yes.
I've always felt that they were constricted, like in some way, like we can't see. I've always felt like they were crazy constricted to like.
I mean, they have to be, right?
Like, yeah. So
that's why they make all this stuff. They seem so easy, at least.
Yeah, but so every time I bring up Hearthstone 2.0, everybody just like totally shoots down that idea. But that's the whole premise of it. It's like it's a way to start over in terms of like getting like these huge features out there. And putting resources in and building
a better engine this time, not spaghetti code.
Well, I mean
the game
engine's probably fine, but yeah.
And I feel they're taking advantage of it as much as they could, in my opinion. Now I don't know what the restrictions are, but I just feel the game has so much more. Other things that they can add into the game to make.
No, I think there's a ton of things. I mean, even just like the PvE part. I'd like to play with you guys and be able to like, let's do a raid together with our own cards and decks and kill like a dragon, or there's all kinds of things that we could work with, even just with, I feel
or hey, a tournament mode, imagine.
Yeah, a tournament mode too. I mean, that's even just getting to more traditional card game type of features. Yeah, tournament mode would be great to have. But
I mean, every card game has it. It's so illogical to not have it. But
yeah. Okay, well, we still got some topics to get to, but before we do, one thing I do want to mention before we get too much further is that this episode is actually sponsored by Magic the Gathering Arena. So I know a lot of folks have been playing it this week. Obviously, MTG Arena, the beta's out there. The open beta is. You can go download for free at mtgarena.com. And I've been playing it some, just the new experience. I still haven't bought any packs, still just kind of like grinding gold kind of thing, and really, really slow at it because I keep losing. But how about you guys? Like, have you guys been playing MTG at all and being able to? I know, Feno, you haven't played too much, right? Or at all,
no.
Right? You haven't played at all.
No.
But Gaara, you played some this week, right?
Yeah.
You played some. And you enjoying it? Like, just
dude, it's so sick. Like today, I played and I had so much fun because you can go infinite in draft. Like I played my first draft ever yesterday, and I got 5 wins, and I basically doubled my value. And today I had an even better draft than yesterday, and I'm gonna go 5 wins again.
Nice,
and then
dude.
I can basically go infinite, and I'm like a new player to Magic. It's like the first time I played Magic. There's
a lot of bad players like myself like on the ladder right now, so you could just be farming them. But yeah, so anyways, Magic the Gathering Arena, if you guys haven't tried it out yet, or maybe you guys saw the old Magic Online or MCG Online, it's way like million times better than that. Like it's
everyone says that.
Yeah, it's an actual really, really good version of Magic. I think if you are an old school Magic player, you're going to really enjoy like playing this, because it feels like what I would imagine, like Magic, if I were playing the actual, physical card game, would be like, from a digital standpoint. And there's a lot of cool aspects too, from a digital standpoint. I think it adds like the feeling of it as actually, I think the part that's a huge upgrade from what I've seen before with their products. So when the cards hit the face and when the cards, kill cards and things like that, it's a pretty good feeling, when you're playing that. So yeah, I mean, you can earn rewards, there's the gold aspect, you can buy packs with gold. So, you can grind that way really slowly, or you can go, buy packs and, kind of get into all that. But yeah, go download it today, guys. It's open. Anybody can go download for free, mtgarena.com, and start playing it. Speaking of Magic, and kind of like one of the topics that we had this week, and that came up probably roughly a week ago, or maybe a little bit over a week ago, is that Reynad made this video that was just talking about basically economics just more the money side, just how much money we spend, with the value that our money is going into, in terms of all the different cards, including his card game Bazaar. And it was a really interesting discussion. And I think that that's one of the biggest elements that differs from Artifact, Hearthstone, MTG Arena and Bazaar is just, how much is it going to cost to play the game, and then what does your money go towards? So I kind of wanted to, kind of have us have a little bit of discussion there and seeing like, which type of player is going to benefit, in which game in terms of like their money spent, or, who's going to like, which game's going to have their money go the longest way, in terms of that. So I think the first thing to talk about really is just, I think a lot of people talk about Hearthstone and they always mention that it's not really a collectible card game because you can't collect cards, right? Because all the IP is owned by Blizzard, right? It's a service-oriented type of game. We basically, buy these cards.
It's not a collectible card game.
Well, I mean, we don't actually own the cards. Like we can't go sell them or anything like that, right? We don't actually own it.
Yeah, that's not a trading card game, but it's a collectible card game, right?
Oh, I mean, is that okay? Okay, sure. It's a TCG. Right, that's my
it's not a TCG.
Yeah. It's a CCG, but not TCG. Yeah, so it's not a trading card game because of the fact that we can't trade cards, right? Yes. And we can't sell cards. We can't. Yeah. So, I guess let's kind of start there, right? Because like Magic has always been considered that, just because from the physical standpoint you can. Artifact clearly is going to have a marketplace where you can trade cards and whatnot. So is this, in your opinion, a better or worse thing? To have this marketplace, and what that marketplace means, by the way, guys, because when you have a marketplace, that means the value of cards are going to, for the most part, get driven up. Like let's say good cards, like I don't know if if you only play Hearthstone, like Giggling Inventor, for instance, right? The value of Giggling Inventor, or how much it would cost to buy a Giggling Inventor, would go up. Just because that's just how markets work, right? And when something's good, a lot of people are going to want it. So you have this concept of just like generally the price of like playing these games, much less the whole buying packs and how that all works, but that just the cost of that goes up. So how do you view that? Would you rather pay more money to be able to like trade and keep cards and, like have that ability, or would you rather have it cheaper and it be more like Hearthstone?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a good view about this because I always get all the cards in Hearthstone, so I can't really, see it from a player's perspective that doesn't have all the cards. But I don't know if I like the Magic and Artifact thing because the good decks are always just gonna be so expensive, right? And I don't know how I feel about that. I'd rather just have everything kind of in the same price as Hearthstone does. I'm not sure. I want to hear what you guys thought about it because I really don't have a strong opinion about any of these markets.
Yeah. Gaara, what do you think?
So first of all, I hate when people talk about Artifact because there's absolutely no information about how expensive Artifact will be. There's like some theories that you will be able to get all the cards for $200, which is way cheaper than Hearthstone. And I am pretty sure that Hearthstone is one of the worst models I've ever seen. It's just because first of all, it's online and it's so expensive and there's so little free stuff. In almost any other, I played so many online games, like at least 50 different online games, and there's so many free things you get in a game through daily quests. Every game has like so many different daily quests and rewards. But if you decide to spend money, you usually get an great like in-game return of value. Mm-hmm. And in Hearthstone, it's like really bad. But it's also not like extremely fun to open packs in Hearthstone.
There's so many
they've made it better. They've made it better, right? Like guaranteeing that you don't get repeat legends anymore. They give us free stuff every expansion now. I mean,
I think Gaara took it too far there by saying it's the worst. Like, come on, it's really
no. Which game is worse? No, I think
we don't have any other card games to compare it with, so it's like, what are you trying to compare it to?
We can compare it to Gwent, which you have. It's way cheaper than Hearthstone. You can compare it, like you can't really compare it to Artifact, but from my analysis, it should be way cheaper. And And like what Magic is, you can basically go infinite as a free-to-play player and get like all the cards for free. Basically, in a Hearthstone, it would take infinite amount of times of playing arena, and you have to be like average 7 wins, and it's just ridiculously hard. It requires a lot of skill.
Well, you can go infinite right now, but
no.
Most people
the
can't.
biggest problem I have with Hearthstone is the dust, that you get 1/4 of the dust return if you disenchant cards.
Okay, that's
that
fair.
Is really bad. If that would be half, I think it would be so much better. I think that is really what is so painful.
Yeah,
Why?
I agree with you there. I think the dust ratio is probably one of the biggest flaws of it, because I mean that really just kills value, right? Like, you know, you're actually putting dollars in to buy packs that actually end up with cards, and then you end up, you know, even with something that's super good, you end up getting 1/4 of the value. That's just like insane to me. Yeah, I mean, I think 50% would be better, and, you know, still take a penalty on it, right? But I think it would be much more reasonable.
You open like so oftentimes packs just for dust, like, you know, like, because it's most of the legendaries are not like playable, and then you just keep opening packs, and at the end you just disenchant to craft the legendaries you want, and 1/4 in dust return is just so bad.
Yeah, but I feel like you're saying that Hearthstone's more expensive than playing Magic. No way.
No, online Magic, not paper Magic.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, okay, so I mean, online Magic.
Paper card games are all more expensive.
Online Magic. Do we know? I mean, like, do we actually know that? You know, like how much it costs? I mean, has enough people bought enough packs right now to be able to build all the different, you know, color combo decks and stuff?
The thing is, everyone knows that just buying packs in Magic is the dumbest thing to do, just because it's like the least amount of value you can get for your money. There's like so many. Okay, that's
sure. Like you can draft. So explain that, because a lot of people don't understand what you mean.
In Magic, there's like many more ways to buy stuff and like return. Like you can buy gems. It's like very common in online games. You can buy diamonds or gems and then return, like exchange them for like in-game stuff.
Like you're talking about in-game currency type of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like 2 types of in-game currency, but one in-game currency is usually which you can get through money, and like in Magic you have gold. Like it's a very classic in-game.
It's like Hearthstone gold, basically,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's also games, and usually you get games through just money. But in the game, you can also get games through different game modes by like playing the game modes through paying with gold. There's one game mode where you can pay with gold and get diamonds, and usually, or like gems, and usually you can only get gems through money.
It's gems, guys. When he says gems, he means gems, guys.
Gems, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time I've seen that you can get like a money currency through in-game currency in exchange.
I mean, is it all the same though?
No, usually because there's like
it's like buying riot points
with gold that you do with money, right?
It's like buying riot points or something like that. You know, it's like
usually it's more valuable, the currency for money. You can get.
Well, yeah, but Hearthstone has that too, right?
No, it's 2 currencies. Like it's like in Hearthstone, it would be kind of like dust. But for dust, you can only get, what can you do with dust? Only craft cards, right? You can't like enter arena through dust. If you could do stuff with dust, then you basically have 2 currencies in Hearthstone as well. But the thing is, you have way more ways. Like in Hearthstone, what can you do with gold? You can enter arena. And what else can you do with gold?
Buy packs.
Buy packs, yes. And in Magic, there's like, I think 8 game modes. They can use your currency, and they have like usually a very great return for your investment. Like in Magic, if you do a draft, if you break even with 2 wins only, and usually they're best of 3s, and it's like arena. You have to lose 3 times to drop out of the draft. So if you go like 2 and 2, you already break even. And in Hearthstone, you have to go 7. You need to get 7 wins in arena to break even your 150 gold or something. It's just such a horrible return investment. And there's no other game modes to choose from. It's just like so little value for your in-game currency.
Well, so okay, that brings up one thing too. It's just that, you know, I think now that we have a digital game, you know, this whole concept of, having this whole trading card thing, like actually having something in your possession, you know, something that is of value, you know, to the rest of the world. I think that's where people kind of get in, we kind of get into this whole discussion that's really misaligned, right? Because a digital game isn't like that, right? A digital game generally is, in a lot of other games, you just pay for it. You pay for a DLC, you buy it, right? And you just get everything with it normally, right? And I mean, you kind of look at Hearthstone that way. I mean, if you pay like, what, $250, maybe $300 or something like that, you basically get all the cards, right? Something like that.
Each expansion. You really don't.
You don't? No. Do you not? I get all.
No, not even close.
Not even close. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just because like we just got so much dust. Like at this point, I get like, how much do you think it is? How much do you think it is per expansion? Right at this point, do we know?
There's no way for $250 you get anything close to a full collection.
Yeah,
you might get I'd say 2 or 3 playable decks. Like, no more than that. Oh, I'm pretty sure about it.
I don't know about the decks, but I'm just saying like the number of cards. Like, I guess minus the legends. I wonder how much money. Somebody in the chat, if you guys know, like.
I spent definitely more than 10K in the time I'm playing Hearthstone, and
yeah,
I think we all have. Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering each expansion.
I'm not close to having like all the cards. Like I disenchant all the old cards, old sets, all the time.
Really? I thought it was like something around 300.
It's really expensive. Like,
okay.
Come to think about it, I actually do spend like a lot of money in Hearthstone. But
each expansion though, like I feel like I didn't spend more
each expansion. Each expansion, you don't need to spend that much.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about each expansion. Okay,
if you're talking about that, no, you don't need to spend more. I just thought you said that you get everything for like
total. No, come on, dude. We've all spent like ridiculous amount of monies on this game.
How much do you spend every expansion, Feno?
That's what I'm saying. I spent like $200 or $300.
I spent like probably $200 or $250 on each server.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, that makes sense. I just thought you said as a new player to come in.
But then, like usually, but when you spend $250 per server, you're not close to getting all the cards from that expansion as well.
You are outside of the legends.
You don't get all the cards, but you get.
Yeah.
You usually like miss all the bad legendaries. It's like the minimum I would say you have to spend.
I mean, it depends, right? Because there's some expansions that don't really have many good cards, so then it might even be much to spend that much,
Yeah, I mean, you get enough dust to craft 3 legends you want, with that much money. I think at least 3 legends that you actually want with the dust you get. So, now that there's no repeat legends, I mean, you're going to get unique legends like every single time you hit a legend.
But most of them are bad, usually. You need to be lucky to get the good ones. But most are bad, so usually you have to craft the good ones.
Okay, but anyways, my point is that a digital game, is like that. It's like a service-oriented thing. You just pay for it, you get it, and that's it. Like, there's no ownership of it. Like when I go buy a new expansion from, The Witcher or something like that, I don't expect to be able to go and resell this, like this Witcher DLC is like something that is of value. It's not, it's just like I get to play it and that's cool. That's all I get to do. Same with skins. Like skins are the exact same thing too. Like it's obviously different here because this affects our gameplay, like specifically. But that's where I think the big, kind of misalignment when it comes to talking about a digital game like Hearthstone versus like Magic. And now that, we have a digital version of Magic and Artifact, it's going to, I think, in Artifact having a marketplace too, I think it's going to even make it a little bit more confusing as to what's better or not. And I mean, in the end, I think that Hearthstone will still probably be the cheapest one, even though it's not cheap. But you just won't have the ability to, like if you like the whole, commerce aspect of it, like selling cards and all that stuff, you can't do that. So, but I think that's the only thing that Artifact might have on it, right? Like in the end, people just want to play the game. Like I don't think people are as concerned. Like the casual players, you think the casual players actually care about selling their cards and stuff? Like, I don't think that's a priority at all.
Want to be able to play the game, right? And
yeah, like that's all they play on their mobile. They don't care about like these cards being worth money.
They don't really care.
Yeah. So, I think that they're all just going to be different. That's kind of how I look at it. And if the amount of money you have is very limited, then I think a game like Hearthstone is going to be better for you. If
yeah, I really don't believe that Artifact will be cheaper than Hearthstone in any way.
I think it's going to be more expensive.
No, what I'm saying is like, how can people know? There's like no information about it, like how expensive Artifact is.
There's not. There's not, but the fact that the marketplace exists, though, like, let's just think about it, just generally speaking. There's a marketplace that's going to exist. So, I mean, I didn't play Magic, so I can't really say for sure, but, you know, in Magic, I mean, watching these videos and listening to other people talk about it, it sounds like the good cards, you know, ended up rising in value. You know, like, you know, some of them maybe in the beginning, I think were very common, so it was kind of easy to get them. And maybe over time they became more rare, so then people would be selling them, and it would just continue to rise because the demand for it obviously goes up, and the scarcity of it, you know, starts to rise too. So, and over time, it sounded like just the more rare cards just become more expensive. So building a good Magic deck, I believe, costs like $200 or $300 just to have a deck, you know, that's actually good and viable in the meta. So that sounds ridiculous to me. Like, yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
but then you really have to like differentiate between the physical card game and a digital card game. Digital Magic is 200 times cheaper.
Yeah,
but that's why you can't make it like so expensive.
Yeah, so I think Magic and Hearthstone may be pretty close, and, you know, Magic Arena and Hearthstone may be in more the same bucket than Artifact is in the end. And I don't know, unless Artifact has like very cheap good cards, you know, very very common good cards. I can't see Artifact being cheaper, you know, like on the cheap side.
But there used to be so many people also like making a living from buying and selling cards.
Yeah, that's what
but
I mean.
You can't do that on Steam, can you? Because the money stays in.
Or does it?
Unless you can do like transaction with PayPal and stuff, but then but no, you can't remove money out of Steam. If you put money on Steam, they stay there.
Oh, really? I didn't actually know that.
You can't take out money from Steam, no.
But will they then push the price so high?
I mean,
like, what's the incentive? Did you have like
I mean, if you buy all your games on Steam, then the money is just as good as real money, right? So,
but to become a Steam millionaire, it's like,
yeah, I've got $1 million Steam bucks, baby.
Imagine.
Well, I mean, I think it'll go towards buying packs, right? I mean, at the very least, it'll fund your Artifact. You know, the amount of money you need for Artifact.
I really wonder how expensive it's going to be. I can't even, like, I have no grasp on like how expensive will be the rarest card. How can you possibly know?
I mean, it will really depend on the meta, right? And like, how do you say it? Like, how many people need a card? Like,
I don't think it's going to be, so I think the Artifact, because there's a marketplace, is going to be very similar to physical, like Magic. You know, I think that maybe it's, I don't know, nowadays, right, they probably have online marketplaces for all the Magic cards, right? You know, like on eBay, basically, for Magic cards. But, so you could probably, it could be a direct correlation to Artifact. I mean, in my opinion, like, it just really just depends on the rarity of the cards that are going to be good, relevant in the meta. Because if they, you know, let's just say they start making these, you know, these hero cards, or, you know, whatever it is that's like super good. I mean, they're probably going to want to make those cards rare. And, you know, if you want them, then you've either got to buy a ton of packs and try to get them just by luck, or you're going to have to go and buy them from the marketplace. And then there's going to be bidding wars, right? For these crazy cards, I would think.
Yeah. That's like, I
mean, we can't really say how it turns out, but I don't know. Like,
another key point is really how rare is it to get a rare card from a pack, right? If you can just buy for $300 packs and just get all the cards, then you would do that. But you just don't know how often you would get a rare.
Yeah.
I mean, it will also depend on how many people play the game, right? Because the more people play it, the more packs they're going to buy, the more cards are going to be out there, the less expensive they're going to be, right? Isn't that also a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so. The same.
Yeah.
It was the same in World of Warcraft, like, because there's an auction house, because there's so many people having these items and putting them in auction house.
The cheaper they get, right?
Yes.
The more people there are, the cheaper the items and all that get.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scarcity thing too, right? So, I mean, there might be people that are just purely, they're not even playing the game. They're just like literally just selling cards and figuring the economics of it, you know. And
Chairman is right though, because like if there's like a meta deck and everyone wants a card, I can really see that the price goes because even the noobs want that card, right? Everyone wants that card. That the price will go really high.
Also, you know, it's gonna be interesting about the price because in Artifact you can play like, you know, 3 of the same things, say, or whatever.
Yeah, you can play.
And I don't know how it's gonna work with because in Hearthstone you play 1 legendary, right? So I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work. It's gonna be too expensive.
If it's like Magic, you can play as many as you want, right? You could play like freaking 10 Dr. Booms if you wanted to. Yeah, that's another thing too. Is like the price of the decks are just higher because of that. There's a lack of limitation like that. So
no, I mean there is a limitation. You can play like 3, I think, max. But
oh, is that okay? I didn't realize 3 was
no, there are limitations in Artifact, of course.
Oh, okay.
There's no limitation how many cards you play in a deck. There is a limitation how many copies you play.
Okay.
But there could be like rare cards you wanna play 3 times.
Yeah, a lot of cards you will want to play them 3 times. Doesn't matter if they're rare, common, or something, right? If they're good, you want to play more of them.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like it will really matter how many good cards they make, like legendary, for example, or really rare, right? Like, will these cards actually be the best cards, or will it be like more spread? Because if all the good cards are legendaries, then they're gonna be really expensive, right?
I mean,
because
the good heroes, the best heroes are legendary. They're like
no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean,
no,
they are already
legendary.
Yeah, not all of them, but the best started heroes are rare.
I mean, are any of them common? Like,
no.
There are legendary heroes in Artifact that are bad, like really bad.
Yes, but there are also the best heroes are legendary as well.
We don't care about those. No. Like, okay. Because
like X, for example, is like
I don't know if we can talk about this Gaara.
No, they're revealed. I'm looking at the revealed cards.
Okay.
X is like
don't get in trouble, man. Yeah.
X is the best red hero, and he is a rare card. I mean, I can also show you like really, really good heroes are rare. I mean, like
wait, when you say rare, you don't mean like
I'm looking at the max rarity of heroes now, and they're like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 3 from each class right now. 3 legendary from each, and they're not the best. Only Axe is the best. Like
but that's what I'm saying though. Like for example, X is the best, and he's also rare. Of course, there's also bad rares. It's kind of like in Hearthstone, you have bad legendaries.
Yeah, but I'm saying most of them are bad, so that means something, right? If most of them are bad, that means they will be not as expensive.
No. So you're talking about, you're generalizing like legend cards, period, or legend heroes. But Axe will be super expensive for that reason.
X might be like the most expensive.
Axe will be crazy expensive, especially if he's the only good one.
Other good heroes, because there are a lot of good heroes, they aren't legendary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that means something. Like, if I could rate all the top heroes, there are a lot of good heroes that are like tier 1, right? And how many tier 1 heroes are legendary? Maybe I can say that. I'm not gonna say exactly the heroes.
Okay, Kana will be the best hero in the game. Yeah. Like Kana is rare though.
There are 4 tier 1 heroes in the legendaries out of 12. That's not many, right?
Yeah, that's not many.
And there are a bunch of tier 1 heroes.
But at the same time, they're the best. Like Kana is, for example, legendary, and X is legendary, and those are like the best from the color.
I don't know if Kana is the best. I know Axe is the best for sure.
Well, anyways, so forget the actual specifics. I mean, your point, Feno, is just that it really just depends on the meta, right? It really depends on the meta and which cards are good. Yeah,
they can choose how expensive the cards are depending on their rarity and all that, right? Because if you have the really good cards are common or like rare, that means buying packs will give you them more, so they're not going to be as expensive, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where Hearthstone falls. You know, I think half the deck is very common, right? And it's easy to get.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of why Hearthstone is like aggro decks. Aggro decks are so cheap. Like you can get a ton of them if you just do common and rare cards.
Like Oldrog just plays like 2 legendaries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where, I think that's where the big difference will be. Sure, the Valve can control it, but my inclination, or at least my feelings, is that I think that Valve is going to, they're going to want this to be more of a, connoisseur type of game. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like what they did with Dota, in the MOBA space. They're going to want people that are really hardcore, and they were always like, MTG players, with the physical cards. They want those people. And I don't see very many casuals at least getting into it in the very beginning, even if their favorite streamer's playing it. I don't think that they get super into that game. Like,
that's another thing that, like, I honestly don't know how Artifact is gonna do, because I feel like this game is just not for everyone. Not like Hearthstone. I think Hearthstone is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hearthstone is for the player that wants to, like, chill, play a game. I don't think Artifact's like that. By playing it, I mean, sure, it's like, it's really good for like me, Gaara, or like the other pro players that really like to compete. But I don't know how easy it is for the viewers to keep up. Like Hearthstone, doesn't matter. You go into board control stream now. You open the stream. You see the cards on board. You see the cards on hand. You see your opponents. You know everything that's going on. In Artifact, it's really not like that. Like,
well, like you said with board stream, you have the same cards he has. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
In
also,
Artifact, I probably won't, but...
Will people want to watch a game that they can't really play if it's expensive, right? That's another thing.
Yeah.
Because almost everyone can play Hearthstone, but I don't know if it will be like that with Artifact.
I actually talked about this on my stream today. Artifact will be a game I will 100% compete in, but I'm not so sure how good it will be for streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, at the start, it's going to be good because everyone will want to know what's up. But I don't know if it will, keep being good after a while.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how accessible it will be to people that don't want to spend much money on it. And I don't know how easy it will be to follow as a viewer.
Do you think it will change a lot if they would remove the $20 just to get the basic decks? Like, if everyone just gets the basic decks, right? You give them stuff for free. It would make them kind of addicted to spend money and buy cards.
I mean,
right?
isn't the freemium always the best option when it comes to game?
Yeah, totally. I mean, Valve would be smart if they made it very cheap in the beginning. Like somehow cheap, get into even just like one good meta deck. Just have it be super cheap and get people to learn the mechanics of the game, get used to playing this kind of 3-lane style with the shop and just everything, right? Like really learning how to play the game before just having all these people just, all the hardcore people just go all in, and then they're just like, the folks with all these cards and just, dominating at the top, all these tournaments they're going to have, will be winning all those. Because there's a learning curve to Artifact for sure. Like there's a much higher learning curve, I think, than there was for Hearthstone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so
it took me a while to actually figure the game out.
Yeah.
Like Hearthstone, you see your mana, you play your cards, that's it. You don't really need much more than that. In Artifact, it's so much more complicated. And I think it might be too complicated in a point that's not going to be good for the viewers. That's my only concern about the game.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, why don't we move on? Maybe we can move through these a little bit quicker. We got some... Actually, before we move on, I do want to talk about the Mike Morhaime thing a little bit. I don't want to just talk to him in terms of like this Hearthstone talk that we had before, but big news, obviously, Mike Morhaime being the founder and CEO of Blizzard stepped down this last week. And, for folks that have been playing Blizzard games, following them, doing content, making a living with Blizzard games, I mean, this is a, pretty huge news given that, Mike was basically, if you're only a Hearthstone player and don't play Blizzard, he was basically the Ben Brode of all of Blizzard. Like he was the face of it. He always represented the gamer. I mean, the coolest thing about Mike, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to talk to Mike or not, but, I definitely know Mike and Amy from the StarCraft days. And God, they loved, like StarCraft in particular. I always it always warmed my heart to see how much they loved StarCraft and StarCraft 2. And, just having them sit in the front row and just be super, super fans of watching, like WCS or any of the competitive events. I don't know if he was like that for Hearthstone. Like, I don't know if he had that kind of same love for Hearthstone, that he did for some of the other titles. But one thing that I felt like we could always say is just that Mike, you know, not only built these amazing, you know, led this company that's built such amazing, like definitely some of the best games that ever be made. You know, he was also a huge fan of his games, which is like, that's a lot to be said. I can't say that about a lot of other CEOs. Like, do they sit there and fanboy like we do? You know, like, but with Mike, I can honestly say that. And he was always crazy approachable and nice. I mean, Mike was one of those guys that he might not look like he'll have a conversation with you, but if you start a conversation with him about anything, gaming or anything related, he'll sit there and talk to you for hours, which is like always so cool, given that he's the CEO of this huge company. But yeah, so you guys ever interacted with Mike or have any feelings about Mike leaving? I don't know if you guys, you know, have any thoughts
I never
on it.
get too attached to these people because, I mean, they're the faces, and I don't really know how much they do. Like, I don't know how much Ben Bro did for Hearthstone. I know he was like the face of Hearthstone, but, you know, I don't know how much they actually do for the games. That's why I don't really get too attached to them.
Sure, I mean, once you get to the CEO level of this, you know, huge company, it obviously becomes different. But you know, he started all of this, right? Like he started he started all these titles that we've come to know and love. And you know, back in the, you know, what was it, 27 years ago, right? Like he started it. So you know, it's the same guy leading the company for that long. It's pretty rare to actually have the founder lead a giant gaming, you know, studio conglomerate. I don't know how old Mike was. 50 something. I don't know exactly his age. I think he would probably, he's in his 50s. I mean, given
so what was the reason he retired?
They didn't really give a specific reason.
Rich?
No, I don't know about too rich. They didn't really give a specific reason, to be honest. Like, it just said he was stepping down. He was going to continue being an advisor for, you know, the company. But, you know, for the most part, he was just going to, you know, just kind of just enjoy retirement, I guess. I mean, he didn't really say. Like, I don't know for a fact, or at least I've seen an interview with him that really went into detail. So, you know, a little speculation as to why he's leaving. But, you know, there's not going to say anything ill about Mike, given that, you know, just everything he's done for I think all of us, you know, just creating the games that we all make a living off of now. And we've just like had so much joy, like, for years and years. So, anyways, kind of sad, but at the same time, you know, like, you know, if it's his choice and he wants to, you know, go and you know, kind of enjoy life for a while, then man, so be it, man. He just definitely deserves it. What will be interesting though is just to see, like, is Activision going to come in and do a bunch of crazy stuff to like some of these Warcraft titles and, you know, World of Warcraft titles and I think titles that probably were insulated by Mike, you know, like he would probably, you know, protect the titles that he, you know, was had a huge role in creating those IPs. I wonder what happens now, you know, like now that he's not there. Will some of these become more commercialized, or I don't know, you know, who knows? So we'll have to see. But okay, anyways, let's move forward. Just events real quick. So HCT Singapore, we saw Naviute ended up winning it over Failey, which was like really, really cool. To be honest, I didn't catch too much of it. Did you guys end up watching a lot of it or no?
I think what's a single game.
Okay, yeah. There was, yeah.
It was in weird times.
It was
like
a
really
terrible hour. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was like hoping to get to it, but I didn't end up getting a chance to it. But, you know, definitely congratulations to Naviute. And same, you know, people were there. I think Muzzy made top 8. Sayan made top 16. Yeah. I think Tyler made top 8.
Yeah. Tyler made top 4, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Tyler did? I think Casey made top 4, right?
Oh, yeah. Casey made
top 4. Yeah. Tyler made top 8. So a lot of the usual suspects there. So definitely, you know, congrats to them. Fall championships this week. Any predictions? You know, we did our pick. I did my pick a champion on air last week, but any predictions a week later? Actually, Feno, we haven't even heard your prediction. Who do you think is going to win?
I voted for Tyler because, you know, Tyler's my boy. I also helped him with prep and everything, so
nice.
I had to go with Tyler. But I would pick between Sayan and Tyler, like every time.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I mean, I think Sayan's the best player in the world, so you know. If I wasn't attached to Tyler, I would definitely vote for Sayan with my eyes closed. But
that's why I picked him for my champion. It's like,
yeah, that's the best pick, I think.
Yeah, my heart's. I mean, I love both guys, but probably a little bit more with Tyler, just because it'd be pretty amazing to see Tyler win you know, something in his whole journey. But yeah, Sayan right now is just on fire, and rightfully so. Gaara, your pick?
I picked Tyler.
Tempo Storm Gaara. Which one do you pick?
I picked my boy Tyler, but obviously Zane and Feno, Zane and Feno the favorites. Zane and Tyler the favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm more connected to Tyler. I don't know. We're like friends. We talk.
I mean, Zane doesn't really need the confidence boost.
Yeah, he does. Like, right?
So this is like
that's why I didn't vote for him, because he doesn't need any more confidence. Like,
so this is just spreading the love. Is that what you're saying?
For him, than it will mean to Zane.
Yeah, so this is just all about spreading the love then.
Exactly. To me, who cares about Fox? Like, come on.
Okay. All right.
I voted for Sinto in Worlds. Do you think I care about Pox? Come on.
I mean, it's not like they can see what percentage of votes they got. Like, it'd be nice if they could. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But,
we need our boy Tyler to win. Zane's gonna win anyways, but Tyler needs.
Yeah, Zane's gonna win anyway. That's the thing, right?
God. Okay. Well, I think we know what our consensus is here. So definitely good luck to them and all the other players. Definitely be watching. It starts tomorrow, guys. So be sure to tune into that. Let's see. Oh, no, a little bit of drama in the global games. And that is that Taipei got disqualified. So Singapore is actually getting to advance, but the circumstance in which they got disqualified was a really interesting one. Which, unfortunately, it involves like your typical stream sniping. The stream was 15 minutes delayed, but, there still was a very critical amount of information that was obviously received from one or two of the Taiwan members. And it wasn't Tom, by the way, that basically, I think the circumstance was like it was a hunter or it was a tracking situation that happened in the very beginning of the game. And so they saw that they dropped a specific card. I think it wasn't mind control. Was it mind control? It was one of the cards. And, it came down to later in the game where they were trying to decide, like how to play against it. And, it kind of came up on air that the players were like, oh, how do you know that kind of thing? And anyways, it got to the point where the players admitted to doing it. And then so the Taipei got disqualified. But yeah, it's like, haven't we got over all this stuff? Like what? Why are people doing this, man? It's like...
What amazes me the most is not that they actually did it, because I think a lot of people are cheating in these things. Like, they're cheating with deck tracker, they're cheating with watching the stream, but the stupidity you need to get caught is actually out of this world. Like... I
agree with you, too.
That Roger guy actually amazes me. It's the same guy that win traded for Anquan on stream. Yeah. On stream. He did it on stream.
Yeah.
And now he posted a video where he did that. Like, how can you be so stupid? I don't understand. It's like, is he just so naive that he doesn't understand that this is cheating? Or does he think that's a part of the game because everyone does? I don't know. It's so amazing to me.
You bring up a good point there. Is it so much in the culture that people just don't even... I
think he's just really naive and doesn't understand. He just thinks that everyone does it, so it's okay if I do it. I can't explain it somehow else. So.
Feno's actually hilarious.
I mean, he's got a point.
I mean,
absolutely do not condone cheating on this show. Definitely, stream sniping.
It's like defending the cheaters.
But it is pretty surprising to get.
How can you get?
No, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that they are the ones that get caught. I'm sure there are a lot of people that do it and don't get caught. That doesn't make it okay, does it?
Of course, it's like the people that stream snipe, but they don't log into Twitch.
Yeah, I mean everyone does that. I'm sure everyone does that. Like,
there's so many people that do it stupidly. Imagine how many people do it smartly.
Yes, exactly. Like,
we have no idea.
I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
They're just the
incompetence is like at another level, basically. But you're saying.
It's like, how can we be so stupid and get caught?
Well, what sucks about that is that, to a degree, it's one thing if the entire team was like, okay, guys, we're going to cheat, and let's do it together, and do it, and coordinate it. But, it really sucks when like one or two members of the team out of the four end up doing it without the other, but announced to the other folks knowing, and then you cost the other, you cost Tom basically a chance to be, in the global.
Well, did Tom come out though and said that they did that, so we should get disqualified? He didn't, right?
Well, I think all of that happened. I mean, I don't think it was like Tom was hiding it. I think it all happened pretty briefly after that. But Tom didn't know about it for sure. And
I just know that if someone in my team did this, I would have just come out and said, you know, this and this and this happened. You can make your decision. If you say that you didn't know about it after you get caught, it's like.
Actually, somebody in the chat says that. Everybody's in the chat actually said that they all knew it. Okay, so I didn't actually realize that part of it. Okay, so they all knew it.
Blizzard tried to say that like they got dragged into it or something like that, but even if you get dragged into it, you can just, you know, after the game is done, you go to the admins and you say, I'm not a part of this. This and this happened, you know? I wasn't a part of this. You make your decision. You don't wait for a random video to get posted and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, I didn't really want to do it.
Okay, well.
Because if you really didn't want to do it, you should have just went to the admins as the game ended and make it all clear, right? Isn't that the fair reaction?
I agree with you there, but you know, if they all knew it, then absolutely. There's there are definitely no victims here. There are no victims here at all in terms of
the other guy didn't get dragged in. They probably did. But the thing is that even if you do get dragged in, you can just make it all clear by doing the right thing right after the game is over, right?
Yeah, so I'm a little unclear. So what definitely what I read and heard about it is just that, on air, I think it was Tom that was, trying to make a decision on how to make a play, and what's to say, what's the player that was the other player that actually was sniping? The same guy that's been doing it for a while.
Roger?
Yeah, is it Roger? Is it Roger? Is that his name? Yeah. So anyways, he was making a recommendation, right, to what play it was, and then Tom asked him like, "How do you know?" It's like, would he actually ask that question if he?
No, I'm not saying he was in on it. Yeah. He wasn't in on it. He wasn't stream sniping. He wasn't doing anything wrong, but he knew that his teammate was doing it, and he didn't do anything about it, right?
Yeah. I think that could he have reported it sooner? I'm pretty sure he could have reported it sooner. So
I just know that I would do it for sure because I don't like this kind of things. They're just shady and.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's sad about this is like we can't do any. I mean, what can we do about all this? Like
we can't really do anything.
We can't do anything about it. I mean, outside.
As I said, they only get caught because of their stupidity. Else they wouldn't be caught and no one would care, and they would win World Cyber. So we'll be like, whoa, congrats to Taipei for winning, blah, blah. Like,
well, I mean, so, it's sad. I don't want to like single out Taipei, but I mean, is this something that should be like a very huge penalty? Like, should Taipei be able to compete next year because of this? Like, should they just be banned from next year because of it? Like, I feel like there needs to be like a stern penalty because if we can't do anything about it, like if we can't detect these things and, it's not LAN. I mean, is this going to continue happening? Should at least the penalty for it be like crazy severe?
I think so.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it should be. Like, I don't think.
Because then people would.
They're going to keep doing it. Right? Like, yeah.
Just getting disqualified. I mean, even just getting disqualified is big enough. But, even if you make it bigger, you don't have anything to lose, right? Because people shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So you should just make it as big as possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess you could ban the players.
It's kind of like a sportsmanship. Yeah. Like there's no, it's like if you catch someone doing that, if you know someone is doing that, there should be definitely a penalty.
Yeah. Well, so somebody's thinking, why not just ban the players? Yeah, that would probably be the most fair thing. But banning the country, then all of a sudden you have a collective, like, hey, dude, like,
No, you definitely shouldn't ban the country. That's not a thing. No way.
It happens in the Olympics.
No. It should be for the. I mean.
To a degree,
it does. Like, I think it should just be the players, and maybe not even like Tom and the other guy that didn't know about it. Like, I know that they are at fault in a way too, but I don't think they should be banned. The people that actually did it, I think they should.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fairest thing just to do the players. I definitely agree with that. It's just I'm wondering if like even just having a crazy severe thing, just so it does cost other people like. That's when you do something stupid like that, you're costing the opportunity for an entire country.
Then it's like too much hate involved, right? And then people really get hated. And I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe just banning the players and making it consequences only for them is big enough. Like, you know, people are really out there to hate you in this world. So
oh yeah, that's for sure.
That's just
the last thing is just encourage like another thing to do, give them to hate you. Okay, well, yeah. So a little bit of drama there. You know, Singapore. Congrats to Singapore. I mean, they're going through, you know, because of that. So they'll be at BlizzCon. See, real quick, want to thank just our patrons for supporting the show. Just because you know, we're kind of running over now, so trying to get moving here. But want to give a shout out just to our you know, patrons that support the show each and every week. So Mike T, our legendary producer, of course, and then Bryce L, Raydan. And then we got a few others here. Let me take a look. Sorry. So we've got Graham S, Michael O, Cameron M, Paul H, Vincent G, Dan S, Scott L, Grant A, and Lee D. Thanks so much, guys, for supporting. And if you guys want to, you know, make a pledge too, go to patreon.com/valuetown and make a pledge today. It really helps us out and helps us keep this show going. Okay, just maybe one question. Yeah, I think maybe one or two questions, like real quick. All right, Joseph D has a question. So, you know, one of the things that he says is there are many cards in the collection which collect dust, you know, like never see the light of day. And instead, Blizzard only nerfs strong cards. Why don't they buff some old cards that are dead too? And so he kind of like asks us, which cards would you like to see buffed? out of some of the old cards that never get to see play. Kind of on the spot, but anything. Which one?
No, that's interesting to me that they want to see buffed cards.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Blizzard's anti-buff, right? Like they've always been like against making cards better. But which card would you like to see made better? He suggests a few, like Dragonhawk, like Young Dragonhawk, Biteweed, Witch Cauldron.
No, just make interesting cards better. Don't make the common ones. Like
I think
I would go for some like really interesting card that might not be strong enough, or it's like close to being strong enough for actually it to be good. Yeah. What would that be? I don't know.
He has Harbinger Celestial. So that's an interesting one. Biteweed, Glowstone Technician. I don't like that one.
What is Glowstone Technician?
I forget the exact. I forget the exact text. I don't want to say it wrong.
You know, there is a card that I actually want to see buffed, so it's more viable. Let me find it. Actually, it's a new Druid card. That's one that like summon a copy of the adjusting minions or something like that. That might be the Technician you're talking about.
It's give all minions in your deck +2/+2. That's what.
No, it's not that.
Yeah, that one's like.
Wait, let me see my card. I don't know the name, so I need to log in Hearthstone to find it. I know what Gaara is.
What card would you want to see, Gaara, better?
It's actually hard. I like the cheap legendaries to make them playable, like Ned Pagel. Like, could you buff it in a way that he's playable but not broken?
Ned Pagel?
Maybe 75% chance. I don't know. Like, I think the cheap legendaries are the most interesting ones because they have like very cool effects.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
But not like Kellesav broken. Can be played stuff like.
I'm just gonna go back to one that people have talked about for a long time. I want
like Millhouse Mana Storm. What if he makes them spells cost 1 mana instead?
You were gonna say that.
Oh really?
I was thinking that briefly. I'm like, I bet Gaara says this card.
Yeah, if the spells cost 1 mana, maybe that he's playable. I don't know, but not broken. Maybe he's still too OP. I don't know. Like bad, like. Kind of like the reduction is OP. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean,
Lobo Kacho is also so interesting.
Which one?
Maybe Lobo Kacho, if he has like 1 attack. I don't know.
Lower Wakacho. Oh, okay, yeah. Lower Wakacho's Lower Wakacho could work too. I think I don't know. I'd like to see Nozdormu be cheaper. I think that would be pretty fun. Like if we could, you know, just have that, because that like affects the game, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that actually makes the game into something a little different. And I just don't think we see that effect played very much, right? And
Onyxa costing 8 mana. would also be interesting, I think.
Anixia?
I think you would play her in some decks.
Yeah.
Because it's such a high pressure card.
There are just so many cards that you can change for like a mana or something. And
I know. I think it might be easier just to pick a class and try to think of some of the class cards there.
It's so hard. Like there are so many cards that if you just change them for a mana, then they become so good.
Like Night Scale Matriarch, that's a pretty cool card, but yeah, I mean it's barely getting the light of day.
Imagine it costs 6 mana.
Countess Ashmore, for example, I'm seeing it now. It's like 7 mana, 6/6.
Yeah.
Draw Rast, Lifesteal, Death Rattle from your deck.
But that's a product of just those decks just not being good. I mean, that card is really good. That card doesn't need to be changed. It's just there's no deck that it fits into.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Emerus? Is Emerus any good? I'm trying to look at legendaries.
Like the Druid card I was talking about, by the way, is what's his name again? Gloop Sprayer.
Oh, that's the one that draws a card, like, or gets a mana for every.
No. It's right? 8 mana, 4/4. Battlecry, summon a copy of its adjacent minion.
Oh, wow.
I really like that card. I want it to be playable, but I don't know how.
That's crazy.
That's scary. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if this card gets good, it's actually scary, right?
Yeah, that card's like either bad or crazy good. Like,
exactly.
There's nothing in between.
I like crazy good cards, so
yeah.
That's just me.
I think that should change Spreading Plague to 5 mana.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one thing I would want to improve is anything Druid related. Druid absolutely doesn't need anything improved, and like that's the last class I need improvement on. Okay, let's see, one last question here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh no, they asked. Let's see. Oh, so
how
Ahmeden.
cool would it be if they would actually buff cards?
If they,
it would change the game.
They have so much runway to buff cards, like.
It's crazy.
Okay, Ahmeden. So is there no... Okay, he's asking, is there no Trinity series this year? I guess there's not. I haven't really thought
there's
about
not.
it. And how do you see open mic team dynamic, and should HGG adopt it? Great. Yes. Like, I think.
You can't do that because countries don't really speak English, right? Like,
I mean, you can choose, though. I mean, you can at least have a production that can choose to you know, show or listen in or not, right?
I think that's really interesting in Team League. I don't think it's good in HGG.
Okay.
Like for a Team League, I'm all for it. Like Trinity Series was my favorite event. It was so, I think even as a viewer, it was so cool to watch it. That's why I don't like HGG that much. I actually don't watch HGG at all because I mean, like not being able to, like, that was the best thing about the Team League.
Right, that's kind of what, that's the point. Like, people don't watch HGG. A lot of people watch Trinity Series. And the only difference is literally listening in. It's like, that was like the only difference for the most part. And then more popular players.
That's the biggest one. That's why I would watch Trinity Series, and that's why I don't watch HGG. I'm sure a lot of people agree with me on that. So. Right.
So they should do it, right?
Like, yeah.
Not in HGG. They should do it in Team League, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay, Gaara, what's your opinion?
Like what's the point in having like 4 people communicate when nobody can listen to it? It's like,
well,
it's
I mean,
so dumb.
It's not always going to be that way. I mean, there's going to be obviously sometimes where you can, but sure,
that's like
if it's not consistent,
it's literally the most interesting thing about it.
I mean, it's because if you have 4 good players, they're gonna make a better decision probably than the one player is gonna make. Not always, but I mean, I guess that's why they do it, because they want to see more clear games, more well-played games. But I don't know how interesting that is in a game like Hearthstone. I'd rather listen in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when you see crazy emotions and then you're like, well, what was he talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the current state of the online version of HGG is just boring, man. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is boring, dude. It is
that. Like, why should anyone watch it? It's like, it's just boring.
Yeah.
Like, also like the roping and the taking so much time, and you know, at least that's another thing. I think if you were able to listen in these turns, you know, and kind of like get a feeling, or like, are they even like bluffing? Do they just want to do it to annoy their opponents? If you're able to listen in, you can actually, have fun with it or like pass your time somehow. But just listen to casters talk like all of that stuff that they come up with just so to fill the time. It's not interesting at all. Watching like an old warrior mirror, come on, like who really wants to do that? Like,
yeah, I agree with you. So, I mean, what can they do? Like I think they should try to do something. Like, what are they going to do at BlizzCon? Is it literally just going to be 3 dudes up on stage and they just play?
I mean, isn't that what they did last time?
No, it wasn't at BlizzCon, but I guess they did it at studio. I guess they did it at studio, sure. Or was that Gamescom? Or maybe it was at Gamescom.
No, it was Gamescom, I think.
Gamescom, yeah. But that wasn't good, right? Like,
I mean, you just have the casters and you have a bunch of people
it's like
playing the game. And having a camera on them. That's it, right?
Right. So there's nothing special about it. And that's like the difference, right, between HGG and say something like Overwatch World Cup. I mean, Overwatch World Cup is so much more hype, and the whole representing your country and all that. I mean, it's promoted by the teams themselves, and it should be a hype event. Like representing your country should actually be a very cool format for you. So I think it deserves something special. Like the actual production deserves something that's different than all the others. So yeah, I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I mean, obviously the open mics thing is an idea, but you guys, I think brought up a very valid point of why not to do it. So, but they got to do something, man. It is like, I don't want to say a waste of airtime, but it's not great. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Also,
anyways, yep. Oh, go ahead.
Also, like all the players didn't like the format, and that should never be the
Oh,
case.
that's
Like,
actually a
like
big,
every,
yeah. That's
like
a big
every
thing.
team hates the format they're playing. Like, how stupid is that? Like, no, obviously nobody wants to play a format where we have like a super polarized meta, especially tournament meta, and then you randomly queue decks, and then you're like, okay, I queue my Baku Warrior randomly into your quest rogue. Wait, who wants that in a tournament format? Nobody.
Like there could be so many interesting things that they can do that would make it like so much better. Like, I don't know, even having something like draft in Hearthstone when you're like, I remember when Firebot did something like that, when they would like give you some cards and then you would have to pick to make a deck like that. I don't know. For me, I find that interesting, but
well, Batstone was like bans, right? Like that was the big thing in Batstone.
Yeah, but I'm saying something similar with like, you can make a deck from like these cards.
Oh, that's sealed, right? That's kind of like the Red Bull sealed thing, right? The Red Bull sealed tournament was
something like that, basically. I think I don't know. I find that interesting for like team things. If you just play the best decks as a team, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's that interesting.
Yeah. Point is,
look at one guy play a deck, right. Just play better, but.
Yeah, point is the global games needs to be different. Like it should stand out format wise or production wise. And right now it's not. It's just like literally, it's like watching TESPA. Like I don't actually see it that much different than watching a TESPA broadcast, and that's not.
I mean, it's just the fact that the level should be higher, kinda, right?
Yeah, but it's in the end it's the same. Like we just watch people playing Hearthstone, like. And the same casters
I agree.
casting.
That's why I don't think it's that interesting.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think that's all we got for today. Maybe just a couple quick community things. I know a few folks are doing something cool. We rarely get a chance to like give shout outs to some community folks, but Wild HS is doing like this NA Wild Ladder Challenge. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's like their own version of like the HCT ladder, but for Wild. So you guys might want to check that out. That's I think it's wildhs.com. Just take a look at that, and if you're a Wild player, go and sign up for that. Wild. Yeah, it's sign up for that free. They're doing some cool stuff over there, so check that out. And then lastly, somebody messaged me about somebody setting up the Hearthstone meme league, which is, I'll link this in the chat, but there's like a Reddit thread here that basically talks about. It's an actual competition, like a league that there's prizes like in the end, like gift cards and whatnot, and it's like playing Hearthstone in a different way. Just think of it like that. There's like different conditions that earn different points, and they're not just like kill the opponent. It's like like one of them is play Mulch Muncher for 0 mana, or ramp to 10. There's all these different types of objectives. So it kind of maybe is a little bit to the point where we were talking about how Hearthstone, has like so much like variety and flexibility. So it's kind of cool.
I was thinking of doing this in my stream. Like quest stroke is so good,
dude. Yeah,
that you can like throw away some cards or try to do the quest with a certain thing, just so you make it harder for you.
You know what you should do? I'll give you an idea. You should play Quest Rogue. You don't have to. Everybody knows you win Quest Rogue. But each time you win, remove one of the cards. And I don't know if your chat picks the card that you put it in, but you just have to, every time you win, you got to remove a card until you finally lose, and see how many cards.
Like I had a stream where I win like 10 or 12 games in a row in High Legend with Quest Rogue, and I was like, should I just throw the quest away, see if I win, even if I do that? Like,
oh my god, that would be impressive.
Like, there's no way to win card they wanted me to do the quest with. It was fun.
There's no way to win Quest Rogue without a quest.
You can win, trust me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're gonna join eventually, right?
I guess it depends on what you like replace it with. But.
You just set us that like giggling event of 50,000 times.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You can do that. Oh man, just chip away at them 1, 2, 3, 4 damage at a time. Okay, well anyways, check that out, guys. There's still people doing some cool stuff in the community, so definitely check that out when you get a chance. But we're gonna wrap up. We went way over today. We had, like I said, a lot of stuff to talk about, so extra long episode for you guys this week.
Wake up at like 5 hours.
I know. But Feno, always great to have you on, man. We've been trying to get you on for a while now, but you're such a busy guy, so thanks for coming on, man.
No problem.
Too famous.
Any shout outs you want to do before you take off?
Not really. I nothing on top of my head right now. Shout out to Chucky for making the last changes good. I hope he makes the new one.
Shout out to Chucky. It was all Chucky.
It was all Chucky. Yeah, screw XR and those guys. It's like...
if he actually helped, and he told me he had a say. So.
Oh, you did? You said you had a say? All right.
Yeah, on the last time the news happened.
Good. Yeah, maybe he did push for this one. Who knows? We'll have to see. Okay, Gaara, how about you?
Shout out for Feno to be on the show. It's super nice having such a super famous, super busy person.
Wow. I didn't know that, Gaara. Thanks.
Shout out to my boy Tyler. Yeah. He's going to qualify.
Who?
It's starting tomorrow. Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Yes, right. Tyler.
Like Sen is going to win anyways, but like nobody cares about that.
Golly. Man, we love Seiya on this program.
I mean, he's going to win. Everyone knows it. Like, come on. So that's going to be fun. It starts tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Tyler's not playing tomorrow. It's Seiya and Sinto play tomorrow.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Seiya, Sinto. Those are
Sinto
the three most notable people, by the way.
No, they're not playing each other.
I thought you were playing them. Okay. Oh, they're.
Yeah. I think Sinto built a very interesting persona in Hearthstone. He's kind of like.
Sinto is like, he's the villain kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
He's like a villain, but not really a villain.
He's like the coolest dude in person, though. Like, he's not like that in person. He's just like that when he's playing Hearthstone. He just gets super frustrated playing Hearthstone, but. He's like a super chill, cool dude whenever you hang out with him.
He is.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why he's the villain. He's just a villain for rage, for just the rage he has.
He's just a good troll. We should appreciate the good trolls.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Round things out. Thank you to the two of you guys for doing it. Great show today. Everybody in the chat, great conversation during the show. You can follow us on all our Twitters down here. You can follow the show at ValueTownGG. We're on HSReplay.net show too, so be sure to follow HSReplay.net. And go check out the best stats in Hearthstone there too. And you can find us on all the audio channels, so all the major ones: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud.com/ChanmanV. And leave us a review there if you guys enjoy the show, and it just helps for other people to find Value Town when they're looking for a really cool Hearthstone podcast to listen to on the way to work or whatever.
And shout outs to HS Replay for new feature.
Yes, more features coming.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout out. That's a good shout out.
Next week, guys, another new feature next week, and then I think another new feature the week after that. So we got a lot of stuff coming. So definitely be on the lookout for that, and you got to follow the Twitter channel just to see all that stuff. Otherwise, that's going to be it, guys, for Value Town this week. So for Feno, Gaara, and myself, ChanmanV, we'll see you next week.
Champion. of the night. We are the champions of the night. Yeah. We are the fighting tide, the ones that burn so bright. We are the champions of the night. Can't tell if we're dreaming now. We watch as the fire falls down. One thing playing on our mind.
All right, guys, I'm gonna switch to the other overlay here while I get these bots ready. I can't talk too long after the show, but I just wanted to answer any questions you guys have.